Well, it's Coronation Street time.
It's Street Talk time. Time to talk about this week's Coronation Street. I thought it was a pretty alright week. I don't know whether there was...
It was actually.
Mega groundbreaking stuff, but it kept me entertained. And I was... most of the week I was just thinking, I just want it to be Thursday. Make it Thursday. I want to see Jim's funeral. I knew that we wouldn't see the funeral, but it was very clear that was when they were going to have the confirmation of the big Jim, Maggie love affair of the 1980s or 70s or whenever it was. It was supposed to be... I don't know when it was supposed to have
Well, he's
happened.
45. 40, what did you say, 46?
Oh, yeah. 80s then.
So it's minus an amount.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
What?
What, 1980?
Ben's 46. I probably
80?
should... What? There's probably fairly easy maths considering we're 2026 at the moment. 1980 is when that makes that happen.
I don't like to actually do the maths. I like to guess. I feel like it's better vibes that way.
I think I know that I said this on the Street Talk short this week, but even though I was really, really looking forward to this this theory to be confirmed, and it wasn't really even our theory, was it? Everyone's been saying it. It just felt a little bit grubby and a little bit, like I said, a little bit catch yourself on, because I find it very difficult to believe that Jim would have had an affair in 1980 when he was, freshly married to Liz, who he was absolutely head over heels, devoted, passionate about. And that's what encapsulated Jim and Liz's relationship. It was that they literally couldn't keep their hands off each other. And he didn't need anybody else, and he got absolutely fuming when he found out that she had an affair with one of his army mates. He just didn't seem like the sort to have had an affair, and just like we've had with Bill recently, it kind of makes you re-look at these old episodes in a different way. And I know you don't go back there and saying, oh, that Bill, he's keeping a secret all along, because we know that what was going on with the Carl Debbie secret and also this Liz and Maggie affair is a creation of 2025, 2026 Coronation Street producers. But it's one of these revisions again. It's not a retcon, it's a revision. But it does...
that's what we decided.
It taints the characters because it does, doesn't it? Because it's like, well, Bill was lying all along, and Jim, he was keeping a secret affair hidden all along, and it's a shame. It's like Toya with her baby. She just didn't mention it. She was keeping it quiet all along.
Nobody asked.
And it's starting to become just that little bit too frequent that they're revisiting that well, actually, and I'd rather that they didn't. I'm not enjoying the story. I think it's great. I'm enjoying... I think that there's a really clever link that they've made between Jim's mitochondrial dystrophy and Ben's heart problems, and Maggie getting worried about that. And I'm enjoying that. Oh, is she going to get caught? When they're going to find out? What's going to happen? All of that, I can't help but be excited about. But there's just this little niggling voice in my head going, no, that's a silly retcon. How are you feeling about it?
I did not watch Coronation Street when, at the height of their incredible love affair,
Jim and
Liz. And I also just want to point out to anyone who's not sure about this, that they weren't on the show when Maggie...
No.
Maggie, this was many years. I think it was 15 years.
A decade.
Yeah, so we didn't actually see Jim and Liz when this happened. So what you're saying, I'm going to be contrary. What you're saying is that Jim couldn't possibly have ever done that because, number one, he was mad when Liz had an affair. And number two, he was super devoted to her. Now, my memories of their relationship is not him being a super, sweet wife guy who was always there cheerleading and supporting her. I just remember him being very jealous and possessive and hitting her, and
once.
That's too many times. But so my perspective, because I've only seen the highlight reel, right? So I haven't seen the many devoted, obvious hours that he spent being a fabulous husband to Liz. I
don't think he was particularly either, and I know that early Liz didn't like the fact that Jim was always away with the army.
Yeah,
and she had to bring up the twins by herself a lot of the time.
I mean, that leaves a huge gap for lots of love children, doesn't it?
It does.
But can I just say as well, just because he was mad that she had an affair doesn't mean he didn't have an affair of his own. That logic doesn't. There's no logic.
No, I know. It could almost say, well, maybe he didn't like it because
he's
it
projecting.
brings.
He's projecting, and he does seem to be. He seems to be a very old-fashioned kind of guy who probably was of the school of kind of a Peter Barlow girl in any port kind of thing, or thinking it's a man's biological prerogative to need to sleep with women. Women shouldn't do that because they don't have the same drive. That's a kind of old-fashioned attitude. Now, Jim never said anything explicitly about any of this, so we can only infer.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I just wish we didn't have to.
No, I know, but maybe, it's obviously bad. It does make his character worse in a way. But I'm also going to argue to you that he was already a pretty.
He wasn't. Yeah.
He robbed a building society. He hit his wife.
I'm not saying bank because I would have corrected you.
Lied about his daughter being alive to con people, and you can say that's a retcon of his character too. But how much can you really complain about him being besmirched when literally the last time we saw him, Coronation Street did a really good stitch-up job on him.
They totally did. I mean, Jim was never a saint, but I'm gonna say, I mean, he even had an affair with Fiona Middleton, who slept with her, didn't he? And that was an old girlfriend of Steve's.
When was he have an affair? Well, was he married to Liz?
I think they had.
How was it an affair? I'm asking you.
Well, a relationship with Fiona. I can't remember the exact.
So why is it an affair?
This is love affair.
Was Fiona in a relationship?
I honestly can't remember. I just meant that they were in a relationship with somebody.
Use the term love affair.
With somebody much younger than him, somebody who his son had shown an interest in, and But on the whole, he was not a bad man. I'm gonna say, and even when he was sent to prison, he was taking revenge on Jez Quigley for leaving Stephen beaten black and blue. Yeah. He did kill a man. He beat up a man with his really bad temper, and his spleen ruptured, and then that was the end of Jez Quigley. But it felt like they made him a little bit more dishonest and a little bit more sneaky, a little bit more vengeful in the final years after Jim left the programme. And this week we had both Liz and Andy saying, "Well, I'm not going to Jim's funeral." I get it with Liz, and I do feel bad for poor Nick Cochrane, who he wants to. I've heard that he would come back to Coronation Street if they asked him.
It would be too much. But
Andy used to be one that they did bring back for things like he was there for Steve's wedding to Karen, I think it was, and it was just nice. And now it's like, I can't even be bothered with that. Would it really break the bank that much to bring him back for one episode?
I'm going to be contrary again.
Well,
just about my thoughts on him having an affair, and you said he was very devoted to Liz. Maybe he had an affair and he scared himself with what he, and thought, I'm never doing that again. That was awful. I hated it. I'm going to be completely devoted to Liz. And then that would make sense that he got really mad when she turned around and did exactly the same thing back to him, and he thought, I thought we were over this. I can't believe.
You can very easily
build a totally credible scenario.
But it's still a revision of the past, isn't it? That doesn't sit particularly well with me.
How could they?
And it makes that would make his passion for Liz be based somewhat on guilt rather than just love and
that's an interesting
passion,
thought.
as I said. But at the end of the day, I've still really enjoyed the story this week, to be honest.
Well, you're a hypocrite then. You're like all of us with our I hate negatives. I hate negative headlines. I wish people wouldn't use clickbait. And then what do? We click on it.
This is literally the Coronation Street are making clickbait. You'll never believe
the pigeons, don't we?
You'll never believe what Maggie saw inside Ken's car. We still don't know exactly what it was. I assume that they're not even going to show us now.
It's a really good misdirection though, because we all were like, "What's she seen in Ken's cupboard?" It wasn't anything to do with Ken. It just so happens it was Ken's cupboard, but the thing in there, it's not like Ken's like, "Oh yeah, that's my picture of Jim McDonald."
I mean, it was either that Ken's got a little picture of Jim in his cupboard, or there's a picture of Liz and Deirdre together. And I don't know whether Maggie knew anything about Liz or who she was.
They moved around, didn't they?
They moved around, but if Jim had this affair with Maggie while he was away and not living with Liz at all, because he was out on his, whatever you call it, manoeuvres, then maybe they never met. So I don't know, but I'm not particularly bothered now about what's in it, because we know the big secret, don't we? So it is interesting how they've not shown it. And I still think that idea I had a couple of weeks ago, where they could have had Amy rooting through the cupboard for a phone charger and picking out a load of possible clues.
That would have been so much fun.
That would have been good. And then if they'd have done that, then this week we could have said, it's the Liz picture that he saw. They
could have had a real good entertainment factor to that by making it like, you know, when the magician gets a bag and they pull like a giant pole out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Corrie has... It's been funny watching.
She could have had a whole load of flags, different countries of the world.
It's been funny watching Maggie this week, because she likes a good expression, doesn't she? She likes to pull a pained expression, a worried, guilty face. And all of this week, she's been there in the background going, "Oh," whenever somebody's come in, or Amy and Ollie. Ben's going to Steve's funeral. Oh no, that can't be happening, so it can't. And at what point are they doing that whilst also saying, Corrie viewers, we all know what's going on, we know why she's pulling that expression? I'd love to know anybody who didn't have this theory before, what did they think was going on?
It's funny that there hasn't been a big moment. Do you think there's been a big moment where you thought, oh, the pennies dropped it? Would it have been when the friend came out?
I think that was supposed to be the big reveal. I do
think a lot of people would have guessed before then.
They must have done, because they were laying it on so thick.
They're like, she's Irish, he's Irish.
Some people wouldn't have even thought to theorise, because there are plenty of casual viewers out there, absolutely plenty. But yeah, they were really laying it on thick, just a little bit too long, to be honest. And I'm like, okay, it's not a mystery for most of us who care anymore.
Yeah, but there's still going to be... I thought that the reveal would come when she told Ben.
Yes.
And we've still got that to come, haven't we?
Yeah, I was wondering whether she was going to say to Ben, look, you can't go to this man's funeral. You can't be friends with Steve. Or even, Amy and Ollie, we need to knock that on the head, because... But it makes sense if she doesn't want to tell him. She probably still wants to keep a day secret forever. In her mind, Ben is not going to find out that his dad was Jim McDonald. But it's got to come out. It will come out, won't it? Especially with this.
There's the muscular.
Yeah, but like you said, after we watched the episode today, she could just tell Ben.
Alan had it.
Just remember that Alan had muscular dystrophy as well. Now that
is it dystonic?
Dystonic.
Oh gosh,
I don't know.
I need to actually know what this is.
Now that Steve's come to mention it, I remember him saying that your dad saying that he had that.
Myotonic dystrophy.
That's it.
It's
gonna come out, isn't it?
Here's another question that we haven't really thought about: is Maggie sure that he is actually Jim McDonald's son, or is there a question? I can't remember, because the argument that they were having, her and Alan, when he died, was about this topic.
Yes.
So, but I can't remember what he said specifically to her. Did he say, "Oh, you had someone else's kid"?
I don't think so. I think he just inferred that she had been playing away.
So this would have been in the 90s. Would they have been able to tell? I don't think DNA testing was.
No, that wasn't their thing back then.
They wouldn't have. I mean. We didn't like the O.J. Simpson trial was when people really learned about DNA testing and stuff like that, right? And that wasn't that long ago. So she wouldn't have known herself, unless she knew I hadn't slept with Alan for months.
That's a really good point, actually. I mean, we're all, because it's the soapiest outcome of it all. We're all saying, well, of course, Ben and Steve are secret half brothers now, but Maggie could be thinking, well, they just might be.
Here's my tip for any female listeners out there who are married and are having an affair. If you suspect you're pregnant and you haven't slept with your husband for a long time and you don't want him to find out that you've had an affair and it's not his kid, quickly have sex with him so that it's plausible that it could be his baby.
Well, I wonder whether... You're right that they didn't have the DNA. That is very good.
Thank you.
Just, yeah.
I'm here for relationship advice whenever anybody... I'm going to start a podcast about that.
They didn't necessarily have the DNA evidence back then, but could she know via blood group, maybe?
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
I don't
more
imagine...
of a mum thing to know
I was
about
gonna
than
say,
a dad thing, I'm going to
dads
say.
sometimes don't even know when their kids' birthdays are. I remember seeing was it Jimmy Fallon show where they went around and asked dads, like, what's your kid's teacher's name? When's their birthday? And they were like, I don't... Stop asking me.
I've got no idea what my blood type is.
No, I don't know what mine
let
is.
alone
I
my
learned it
child
once.
that I don't even have.
Well, are we going to do clickbait?
I think we should do
I
the
did do a
clickbait.
segue.
I mean, this is a big talking point this week, isn't it? And it's going to be developed even further when we get onto that story. But yes, it is clickbait time.
I think we've inadvertently began a new format for this section where we talk about the biggest topic of the week before we launch into...
Well, that was what clickbait was supposed to be, because often the clickbait does spark into conversation with it. You know what you're getting.
It's a conversation street.
We'll get onto the synopsis in a bit, but I think probably people are more interested in the general chat than just going on about every minute detail that happened in what order.
Maybe we stop doing that then.
No, because we missed stuff. Right, here's some clickbait for you, Gemma. Thank you very much to Jonathan who has sent this to us this week. Manchester Evening News published the intriguing headline this week of Coronation Street fans predict Jodie Ramsay affair, and it's not with David Platt.
Sure, it happened one with Carl. A love affair, as you might call it.
This is true. No, somebody else apparently. She may well be. Yeah, Adam.
He's the only man she's spoken to in a week, so therefore people are going to go on social media and say that she's going to have an affair with him.
This will be the test of has Adam settled down and given up his wild oat sowing ways.
Adam suddenly got really rich out of nowhere. I always thought it was weird that he lived in the same area as people who work in the corner shop, and he's supposed to be a lawyer, and he should be quite rich. And now suddenly he's splashing the cash. It's going to feed into the story, isn't it? Because why has he bought this fancy car? He didn't buy a fancy... Coronation Street didn't rent, what was it? Aston Martin.
I can tell you exactly what it is, because our lovely listener... I think this was Jonathan as well, actually. Yeah, he sent.
Can I just say they didn't rent an Aston Martin just so that David the dog could poo on it, did they?
No, they didn't. Jonathan sent us an email saying, "I thought you might like to know the lowdown on Adam's new fancy motor, an Aston Martin DB9 worth £20,000 to £30,000.
I thought it'd be worth way more. I thought it'd be £100,000.
There you go. You can, we can't quite get one ourselves, but if you're interested in
next door would be
cosplaying as Adam and just going that little bit further. 20-30 grand, you can get a car just like his.
Or if you're a dog about to come into a lot of money through inheritance, maybe you're owned by an old lady or something, you could use your money to buy this car and poo on it.
Yeah, you could use it as your personal poo station. Apparently, the plates on Adam's new motor were stolen off a Renault diesel van. And it was a 2018 plate issued after the car was manufactured and therefore illegal to transfer, even if he had managed to get the man with the van to sell them to him. So
what?
Basic.
So you can't put... I thought you could put whatever license plate you wanted on any car.
I don't know. Jonathan knows his stuff. But anyway...
I need someone to explain this to me.
Right, look, let's get... We're so behind. We started recording late today as well.
Liverpool... Your dad's got a license plate that's not... It's not like a... I am Michael's dad kind of thing. It's a personal... Yeah. You wouldn't know it was personalised if you looked at it. It means something a lot to him.
Yes,
but he transfers it to whatever car he wants.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't understand cars.
Maybe he's doing crimes.
I'm not a real man. Liverpool Echo put out an article this week saying Coronation Street viewers issue same complaint after weird storyline.
Well, this doesn't make any sense. Are you sure this can't be at Coronation Street?
What is the weird storyline that Coronation Street fans are complaining about, Gemma?
Pooing.
It is the poo storyline, exactly, yeah. I mean...
Oh, you got to let your hair down, haven't you? Just not around poo.
I think this is probably the longest running...
poo joke.
Poo storyline, the longest running scatty storyline that Coronation Street has ever done. I think it's probably over now. I don't know, but...
Don't cry because it's over, laugh because it happened.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
Jodie's...
It's a bit scraping the bottom of the barrel-ish, wasn't it?
But it was a really great way to demonstrate how antisocial Jodie is. Like, how else could she have demonstrated a lack of regard for her fellow man in such a visceral way? Like, playing music when she's somewhere in public... continuously.
The thing...
I'm trying to think of what small annoyances people do.
Listens into their podcasts.
Yeah,
straight
without
through
headphones.
their phones without headphones.
Putting your recycling in someone else's bin.
Maybe this is what she's leaning into. Like
Putting your poo. People hate it when other people put dog poo in their bins when they're going on a walk.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know why you're looking in your bin that deeply.
I'm not super bothered. I mean, this thing that Jodie's been doing is the sort of thing that some people out there, not me, would absolutely do. And I can't, is it? You can't. Can you say Coronation Street? Oh no, we're better than that.
No, they're not.
I think it's fine, but
It's
it
part
is
of
definitely
life.
weird. It's definitely weird. I don't know what the same complaint was. I think it's just stop having people say poo and hold bags of poo all over the time.
Well, if you're eating your tea, when you're watching it, you don't want to see people flinging bags of poo around, do you?
Not really. It doesn't bother me, but I know you don't like that sort of thing. What's next?
The thing that got me, I think, was when they put the poo bag on his bonnet, on Adam's bonnet, and it made a clunking sound. And I was like, oh God, it's dried out. You could use that as a weapon.
Would you rather it just went...
I'd rather it didn't make a noise at all because it's supposed to be a soft... That dog needs looking at.
Right.
That dog's pooing bullets.
Maybe it wasn't... I don't know. Maybe it wasn't David. Maybe it was Shona. I mean, Jodie herself.
It's a very firm stool, isn't it?
Yeah. Enough poo talk for now. Mail, the final one of the week. Coronation Street fans have the same furious complaint as Theo Silverton celebrates his birthday, raging, "It makes absolutely no sense."
Well, I mean, I agree. Because that poor man, all he got was a shirt that doesn't fit and a broken blender.
No, I do feel a bit sorry for him. What are people mad about? What are people furious about? Now, Gemma, this comes from a group of Coronation Street fans who sometimes get furious about things.
Is it from Digital Spy?
No.
Forums?
No.
Is it from Facebook?
No. Well,
is it from something
this
we do?
This is from Twitter. No.
Why are you saying that?
What?
Okay, all right. I think I know where you're going with this.
Who has not had anything to complain about yet?
Oh.
In this week's clickbait.
I was going to say it's because he said his birthday's tomorrow on Thursday and then it happened on Monday.
No,
I'm going to now revise that answer to Swallow fans.
This is a Swallow fan, yes.
That Lisa doesn't have a birthday.
Yes, it is! Well done! Lisa Swain still doesn't have a birthday, and a lot of Swallow fans, including I know some that listen to this very podcast, have said, this isn't on, why does he get a birthday and not Lisa? Sometimes you have to wait years.
They're going to have to be... Yeah, sorry.
Some characters will go like a decade or more without having a birthday.
Some of them don't have dads. So why should she get a birthday? They're going to have to be really careful about how they pick when the birthday's going to be. Because she's been in it so much over the past year and a half.
Yeah.
It's going to be really odd if it turns out her birthday was like when Carla was locked in various places that Carla was locked in last year, or when Becky came back from the dead and didn't say happy birthday, Lisa. It's going to be really tricky to fit it in, and also come up with a plot that revolves around her birthday, because they're not going to just bring it up.
I think they probably just better rip the plaster off and give her a birthday sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you're right, there's going to be no day of the year that
something terrible wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Or something that you would have remarked, I can't believe this is happening on my birthday.
Yeah. Get to it, Coronation Street. Right, anyway, that is our clickbait for the week.
Like, oh my God. I don't even know what a birthday is.
That was our clickbait.
Maybe she's only getting married to her so she can read it off the register.
I've only got 4 storylines for us this week. I think some of them merged in a little bit. So I'm going to start off with the He's Dead Jim story, but because it was a funeral this week and we did say goodbye to Jim McDonald, I'm calling it the Cheerio Night story of the week. So we are saying cheerio night to Jim, as well as remarking on what's going on with Ollie and Lauren's relationship and all of the other good stuff there. And also the Megan bit is... Oh no, the Megan bit's not in there. No, it's not. That comes later.
Just Lauren and Hardley.
Yes. Toddaloo is the next storyline title, and that is Leo saying a fond farewell to his lovely... Not Leo. Theo saying a fond farewell to his beloved Toddlington, who split up this week, which was good for me because I was hoping to break the cycle of abuse that we'd been seeing. Not because, I need Todd to get away from there or anything like that. I love a good scene where he's getting some horrible thing poured onto him or getting a bit of a kicking, just for the drama, because I know that he's going to get his comeuppance one day as Theo, but just because I wanted there to be a different situation to see the characters in, like, what is going to happen now that what's Todd going to do now that he's split from Theo? What's Theo going to do now he's split from Todd? And actually, I've been fairly satisfied with seeing how the story's continued post-split.
Good.
Good, says Gemma to that. We are then going to do the Adam storyline, which I've called Much Ado About a Doo-Doo. Thanks. There was that. There was Alia. There was Rich getting in a car with her. But the Pooh storyline is coming up third. And then finally, we have got a bit more of the Will Groomed storyline, which we've not called it that for a while, but I haven't got a storyline title for what's particularly going on at the moment. So we're just going back to the same old well as before.
This man in the car...
Yes, Rich.
Is Rich.
He's very rich.
Yeah. That's a Bentley, wasn't it?
He's Alia's old boss at Fabian's.
Oh, I thought I recognised him. And then I thought, is he supposed to be somebody else?
No, he's a comeback character that was in it last year or the year before, I don't remember. And he was the person who Alia worked for a little while, but didn't like his underhand business practices. Now she left him.
How is he going to buy
because she's so moralistic.
She's so annoying.
Yet again, I just don't think that this is a career that's suited to Alia because...
No, but she needs to do... She genuinely has got a problem with defending, with the justice system, which requires people to be represented in court, whether they did it or not. She's got a problem with it.
Yeah.
Then she shouldn't be doing it. But
if she's only going to defend people that are innocent.
I know you can't. They don't ever want to know.
You've got to leave your personal feelings to one side. I mean, Adam's doing it this week, isn't he? By representing Annie.
She should be working for a non-profit to do some kind of hippie law things to help people who are, being oppressed by the man. What she should be doing.
She just comes up as far too much of a goody two-shoes, do-goodery, little angelic. But
why would you go into it?
Come on,
why would you go into it? It's like going into sales and being scared to talk to people.
It's exactly that. I'm a marketer, but I don't want to over-exaggerate how good my product is too much. I'm not going to talk about the benefits
of the product because that's boasting.
Yeah, it is. It's literally like that. Yeah. Or you could say that for any job. Like, I want to become a fire officer, but I don't want to put my hose on full power to put out the flames because I don't want to show off.
No, I just don't want to get hot. So I'm only going to fight fires in the winter.
Do you want to...
You want to do this one, but I'm going to tell you to just be careful with the accents.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind if you want to do the Jim storyline. But I'll do it if you
I know you want to do it.
I loved this storyline this week, despite the fact that it did just get my back up. That it was like when they were saying, Jim used to have Maggie as his little secret. I can't remember the exact wording that the guys said, but when they were saying, Maggie, secret Maggie, and Jim's it was just like Jim's dirty little secret. And I didn't want Jim to have had a dirty little secret. You don't think Maggie what?
I don't care about it.
Okay, well, that's fine, and that is your prerogative.
I think you feel more protective. You watched it when he was in his prime, right?
Yeah.
So you feel more protective of him as a character, whereas to me, he's more of a legend and a memory.
Yeah,
not a memory, but like, I read about him in the history books.
I know, I get it. And there's going to be an awful lot of Coronation Street viewers at the moment who are in the exact same boat, so hey-ho.
They're like, who's Jim? Anything could have happened.
So Steve finds out early on Monday, in the midst of a scene where he's telling Tim that he maybe doesn't think that he and Cassie should get engaged at the moment, and also he doesn't eat food with holes in it, that he has got to do a eulogy at Jim's funeral.
Doesn't come up a lot, does it?
What? Food with holes in it.
Well, spaghetti hoops, bagels,
polo mints.
Ooh, yeah.
Swiss cheese.
Oh God, what about that? What's he gonna do?
Anyway, I don't believe at all for one moment that Steve doesn't love a good donut.
Well,
but maybe he likes the jam-filled ones.
It's a good job he didn't go to Shona and David's secret factory wedding where they talked about don't.
Oh, good, yeah, nice.
Look at the hole.
Yeah.
Don't look at the hole.
Don't look a whole look at that. What would you prefer, a ring donut or a filled donut?
I really like Krispy Kreme donuts.
If we're going to go for a Krispy Kreme, Gemma, we
I will
usually
always
get
get
for a
the
plain
ring.
glazed ring.
I love that.
You love your ring glazed, don't
I
you?
do love a nice glazed ring. And it's nice and squashy.
Filth.
And it's yeasty. But I love a yeasty glazed ring. But I have got a thing recently for custard filled sugar donuts.
Do you? See, I love those as
mad
well.
at
I'd
them.
rather have a custard donut than a jam donut.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm not mad keen on jam donuts.
I don't mind them, but I don't have jam on toast. Jam is a donut food, but not a toast food.
When you were little, did you get told that you weren't allowed to lick your lips when you were eating a donut?
Oh yeah, that was always a thing.
Why
wasn't
did they
it?
tell us that?
Eat a donut. Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't a rule. It was a challenge. You're misremembering it if you think that people were standing over you and say, don't you dare lick your lips.
No, but
Don't
I
you show
remember-
appreciation for this donut I bought you.
I remember being really stressed about it.
No, it was just because it was a challenge.
No, I remember getting really stressed
The
upset.
no licky lips donut challenge.
No licky donut lips challenge.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, so that was bizarre, but it was quite funny. Anyway,
gave us
Steve's
some
got to
content,
say
didn't
a eulogy at Jim's funeral. Oh no, what's he gonna do?
I like the way that
And then
Jim's
it
partner...
turned out the funeral wasn't even on screen, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They're not going to film it. Jim's partner hasn't even got a name.
I know, it is bizarre how they kept mentioning her. And I can't
Is it
remember
Hannah?
whether he was still together with Hannah or not. They may
Surely
well
you
have...
wouldn't talk to her if you're Steve. You wouldn't even talk to her.
Maybe not. I don't know. But it was a
If it is her...
peculiar oversight. And the fact that she then didn't come back to the pub with them afterwards.
Yes. If it is her, it makes sense why Liz and Andy didn't go. Maybe they should have made it that character. Just to quickly explain to anyone who doesn't know, oh my God, this is a bit of a... Liz and Jim had a baby and it was stillborn, or it died very soon after it was born, and it was called Katie. And then years later, Jim McDonald, after being in prison, came back to the show after a long break where Jolly Lawson wasn't in it, came back to the show with... And this woman came with him, but they weren't... We didn't know that they were together.
Not
she
straight
was
away.
claiming that she was actually Katie, and there was some kind of mix-up at the hospital, and she was the dead baby who never died, actually, and spent her life away from her family.
In Australia.
And then it all came out that this actually, yes, sounds crazy because it was a lie.
Yeah.
And Jim and Hannah, who was actually Katie's real name, Hannah wasn't anything to do with them. They were together and they were trying to scam Liz.
If anyone didn't know that story before, they are 100% fully clarified with no questions.
You don't need to ask any more questions. That's what happened.
Basically, Jim McDonald's cut all ties with his family and was made to be a bit of a wrong 'un, and definitely villain in his last appearance, which was a shame. But
Yeah,
hey
and
ho.
I think, wasn't it related to his myotonic dystrophy?
I don't remember.
That he needed money and he couldn't get it. Because he had a
Maybe.
walking stick when he came back.
Yeah. I don't know.
We've done a Jim
Excuse me?
McDonald. We've done a character profile on him.
Yeah, of course.
So go and look it up.
Don't
expect me to tell you again, everybody, for goodness sake.
Anyway, Steve goes to the pub and he tells Ben and Maggie what's going on with the whole eulogy thing. Amy's there too, and she's done up all nice because she's about to take Ollie out on a date. And for the first of incredibly huge number of occasions this week, Maggie looks somewhat perturbed by this. And we're like, we know why. How long are they going to keep this going for during the week? Turns out the answer is a lot.
I picked my science friend's brain on Monday about
Your
the
science friend.
genetics of dating, with Amy and Ollie dating. If Ben and Steve are half brothers, that means, what does that mean for Amy and Ollie, who are their children? And would it be any different from a normal cousin, or is it less, worrisome? I'm not sure that we really came to any big conclusion about what the answer is, except for that legally they would be still first cousins, considered to be first cousins. But in this country, it is not illegal to marry your cousin.
I still imagine that they'd probably think it was a little bit icky if they found out.
A lot of people don't like the idea of it, but that is a cultural thing, and I'm not going to say any more than that because it's a big argument at the moment.
Yeah.
People talking about this specific topic.
What I will say is that I'm not, if I was Maggie, I would also be a little bit worried about this.
Some people consider it a huge bonus because you share grandparents and then it's less people to invite to the wedding.
Yeah, but also fewer presents.
Yeah, you get fewer presents, but also...
Well, they're not getting any presents from Jim anytime
lots
soon
of people
anyway,
might get mad about it and not even come to the wedding at all, so you save money there.
Anyway, Amy and Ollie are sitting on the Rover sofa later, the one on the side, when Lauren trips up and pours beer all over Amy. I think it was beer, maybe it was wine, I'm not sure. And it was a genuine trip, wasn't it? She didn't...
This made me jump.
Oh yeah, it did, didn't it?
Yes.
That was how
happen.
quality that Kate Fitton trip acting
Kate Fitton,
was.
you know, everyone says Vicky Myers is the queen of sneezing. I'm going to say Kate Fitton is the clumsy klutz queen of Coronation Street.
Well, now that Dee Dee's gone, there's an empty gap there, isn't there?
She's going to be doing roly-polies down the street before you know it.
Amy storms off. And I think Maggie at that point was like, if you need to be a little bit more subtle than that. But Lauren, fair play to her. It was a genuine trip.
Yeah.
However hilarious.
Maggie looks perturbed. Lauren's got stink face.
Yes. So on the next episode, on Tuesday, we had Steve trying on his funeral suit at the beginning of the episode. Amy comes downstairs after a bit of a late night out and a long lie-in. And they're kind of talking about, did you get up to anything with Ollie, didn't they? And Amy says,
no.
well, as first dates go, it was, yeah. So I don't know whether they got up to anything. I'm going to say...
that they did, and there's going to be a pregnancy scare.
I'm going to say that they didn't. Especially after everything that happened with Aaron, Amy was very much,
I'm thinking you'll find that Ardy shagged that out of her. We had a touching scene about that, didn't we?
We did have a touching scene about Ardy having his way with Amy, but there was also a lot of, this is something huge for me. This is reminding me of Aaron. I don't know if I'm ready.
No, but I thought she had closure with it because I thought it was really weirdly done. It was like he healed her with his penis.
I don't think
which I
that
thought
Amy,
we'd all moved on from.
I don't believe that Amy would just jump straight headfirst into bed with somebody.
Especially not Ollie.
Yeah.
I mean, what's his chat?
Anyway, so she's keeping her mouth closed about exactly what went on with Ollie there.
You can't eat olives raw.
So
you have to pickle them.
Steve goes back to he's in the pub later to go and borrow a tie off Ben because he doesn't want any of Ken's, and he kind of was jokingly grilling Ollie about this date last night, and he's like, well, whatever you got up to, put a smile on her face, and Maggie's there going, oh.
It didn't though, did it?
What, Amy?
Amy looked like she wasn't that bothered.
No, I thought...
Well, I thought she said when first dates go, it was, yeah.
No, I thought it was,
why was she...
yeah. I don't remember.
I thought she was not nonplussed.
No, I thought she was more like, I just don't want to tell you, actually,
Okay.
Dad. So maybe we did get up to something under the between the sheets.
Maybe they shouldn't have had her talk to these characters about it.
And then Ollie says, well, I'm taking Amy to speed dial later. Camera pans to Maggie. Ooh!
Perturbed.
It's like, I got it after the first time.
All
I really
right.
think they overdid it this week. Just with the... It wasn't anything to do with Pauline or performance or anything. It was literally just they kept on showing.
They kept going, right, look, face. More pain.
It was like the director was the person that was directing Rupert Grint in the Harry movies. Like, do the face again, Ron. Go
Grimace.
on, do it.
Grimace.
Again. Oh, Harry, that's it. Well done. Then we get it on tape again. That's what it felt like a little bit this week. They should have a gurn off, I think, Pauline and Rupert, just to see who would come out on top. Anyway, there was a bit of an awkward encounter between Ollie and Lauren in the hallway later, and she's kind of apologising for what happened last night and the spillage, and he says, look, honestly, it's fine. And when he heads upstairs, Maggie beckons Lauren into the back room and says, look, Lauren, I know that I was an utter cowbag to you before when you were pursuing my darling grandson, but actually he wants you, and all you need to do is remind him what he's missing. I'll look after Frankie tonight. You and Betsy, Becky, that would be a twist, wouldn't it? Go and get yourselves dressed up and show him what he's missing. Really wow him. Tart yourself up to the nines. And Lauren's like, why didn't you hate me before? And Maggie's like, no, not at all. I've decided. Ollie won't do you wrong.
Woman. I'm just very mercurial.
Yeah, so she's obviously trying to do whatever she can to stop this union between cousins.
Do you
and
think
Lauren's the only one that's there.
Do you think that she would then bust Lauren and Ollie up once the danger's gone?
Yeah, I don't think that she has actually changed her mind about Lauren, because Lauren is a sulky cow, isn't she?
She's not a great prospect for the fabulous Ollie.
She's not at
going
all.
Places
so I
and eating all their food.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't even say like. Well, Lauren didn't go and seduce Ollie or anything like that, did she? She just went into speed dial, and she was very awkward about it.
This was hilarious, because this is exactly what... I mean, they're a bit old, really. How old are they? Are they?
Who?
Betsy's 18, and Lauren is in her early 20s, right?
20 or so, I'm going to say.
They're maybe a bit old for this, but it does remind me of like being a teenage girl and like, oh, we're going to get all dressed up and then just not talk to any boys, just stand in the corner hoping that they notice me.
Well, yeah, they go to the speed dial, don't they? And
why do they go
Ollie
there?
is...
It was not clear at all what they were up to, because they go in there to tell them that they're going to town.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing in here then? This isn't the tram stop. What did you don't go, oh yeah, just going to stop off for a quick onion bhaji before I pop into town.
Get a nice bit of bhaji breath before I hit the tiles.
Yeah, you can't pre-game in speed dial. I'm going to tank up on some lassies to line my stomach.
I don't know, but whatever it was, it did the job, because Ollie was there, eyes on stalks, mouth opening, tongue lolling out with Lauren there, and he's like, it was so rude. And
poor Amy.
is justifiably
hug.
knocked off that Ollie's looking at this other girl during a date with her.
Yeah, you had Amy there looking like a beautifully prim little china doll with her lovely pale skin and her rosebud lips and her dark hair, very demure. And then you had Betsy and Lauren, like these blonde bombshells with their red, sexy, revealing outfits, and it was like that meme of the bloke walking with his girlfriend turning around to look at the other one.
It was exactly that. So anyway, before long you got Ollie coming back to the pub and saying, well, it just kind of fizzled out between me and Amy, actually.
I don't know why she got annoyed with me.
Camera pan to Maggie for reaction shot. Smile. That's a smile.
Yeah.
Oh, my evil plan worked. And she says, look, you just need to try again with Lauren. She's a cracker. I don't know whether she actually said that, but that's in there anyway.
She could have done.
Ollie's like, Grant, what do you mean? You don't like me and Lauren together?
Ollie's confused about anything that's not food.
And Maggie says, look, I just had my wires crossed with her. She's been through such a lot. I actually think she'd make a super girlfriend for you. So fill your boots, lad.
Why hasn't he cooked for any of these girls yet?
That's true, actually. He's always taking them out for meals, isn't he?
So he can critique them. I really want them to lean into him being an insufferable bore about food. I think they put that in when he was moaning about the truffle oil being fake in the bistro. They put that in just to give him a bit of flair, didn't they? But that is such a wanky thing to moan about.
I don't think that they want to make Ollie a boring character.
No, but
I think they want him to be kind of desirable and fun.
But he's not got a fun hobby, has he? It's like critiquing truffle oil is one of the dullest ways to be into food. And I just want them to lean into it, because I don't think they can fight. They can't fight Ollie being a bit dull. And they should do to him what they did to Kate, where Kate did not realise that she was a completely spoiled brat. And Coronation Street cottoned on that we were seeing that in her character, even though they're trying to make her into like a cool, fun. Eventually, it just became too obvious that she was just a spoiled brat, and they made it a joke.
Yes, yeah, they could do.
He'd been way more interesting if he had a funny quirk.
Yeah, I don't think he's beyond saving, but I wouldn't be too adverse to that. I just don't know how long they'll be able to string the joke out, to be honest. I don't know.
They've done it for decades with other characters.
Yeah. Wednesday then. So when Maggie turns up at work, she's all over Lauren saying, oh, how was yesterday evening? I bet the boys were all over you last night. And this is all obviously for Ollie's sake, who's there listening in, going, oh, maybe she is desirable. Maybe I'll need to get in there first before somebody else snaps her up.
So impressionable.
Lauren's just very embarrassed by all of this and heads out the back. And Ollie says, Gran, did you ruin my date with Amy? No, not at all. Of course I didn't.
You did it.
Yeah, she says, just don't want to end up with a girl like Amy anyway. You had a lucky escape.
She's got a podcast.
And he says,
don't wanna
look,
mess with someone like
actually,
that."
Gran, and this was Ollie's personality merging slightly for a week. He says, don't care what you think, Gran. I'm going to live my own love life, so that's it.
So stuff off.
Yeah, basically. Back to the gym stuff. So Steve invites Ben to the funeral, and he's like, "Yeah, of course I'll be there if you need me to be."
I'd be like, but I'm going to the main bit anyway because I own the pub you're going to have the wake at.
That is true.
And I'm catering.
And then we just get more Ollie stuff.
So I get to eat free sandwiches either way.
I'm only interested in the Ollie storyline insofar as how it links to the gym revelation and is there going to be a little bit of cousin
Be careful.
cousin action
Cousin
loving but I ultimately don't care who he ends up with. And anyway, he's chatting with Lauren is Ollie later, and what?
There's no potential.
There's no
for me.
I'm not feeling
for Ollie
much
and
spark.
Lauren or Ollie and Amy. Ollie and Amy would end up being a bit like Toya and Nick.
Yes, I agree.
Where they're like, should we go buy slippers?
Yeah, I want Amy. I love Amy. I think she's a great character. I've got so much time for her. I want her to end up with someone.
I love Toya as well.
Yeah, I want her to end up with someone who's gonna really blossom as a relationship with her.
Tease something out of her that's different from her being alone.
Yeah, but if she ends up with Ollie, I think it's just gonna drag her down.
Yeah, I agree with you. But I don't think Ollie and Lauren go either.
No, not particularly.
Because I think he'd end up being like Ken and Deirdre, where he secretly thinks he's better than her.
Well, anyway, it's any potential passion between Ollie and Amy is soon got cold water poured all over it because she walks in on Ollie and Lauren sucking each other's faces off, don't they? When they realise that actually they are suited for each other. So she goes home and has a bit of a moan about Ollie to Steve. But he's looking through gym photos.
Oh, I felt sorry for him because it's the eve of his dad's funeral and then Amy's ripping his ear off.
Talking about boys.
boy and old Ollie.
Yeah. And it was a nice moment. I think that Simon Gregson did a really good job this week, actually, when he needed to.
Yeah, he looked really sad. Yeah. And it was appropriate to the character of Steve as well, wasn't it? It wasn't like...
Yeah. It was.
A complete transformation.
No, it was still kind of
dopey
in some way, but they didn't overdo the clownishness that Steve has been known for the last decade or so. And he's talking about how him and Andy and Jim used to play soldiers when they were little, and they just end with a tomorrow's going to be hard but we'll get through it together kind of vibe. And I also really appreciated actually at the beginning of Thursday's episode starting off with Steve and Leanne at Ollie's memorial in the garden. And kind of not that Ollie, the other Ollie. See, this is the complication here, isn't it?
Yeah.
That there's two potentially significant Ollies in Steve's life.
How could you cope?
But I suppose with Todd we had two significant Billies.
Yeah, but would you not find it super hard to deal with if your daughter started dating a man with the same name as your dead son?
Well, again, maybe, but it didn't stop Todd pursuing Billy.
No, I know, but it would still be sad. You'd be like, can you just change your name?
You Ollie with a Y or an IE. Okay, that might be difficult. Ben's ready for the funeral. Eva's attacking him with a lint remover brush, and Maggie comes in and she's like, why on earth would you be going to Jim's funeral? You've only known Steve for 10 minutes. And he's just like, I just want to give him moral support.
It is weird.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really am loving the Steve and Ben friendship that's got going there.
I know, but you don't have a mate date at your dad's funeral.
You might do.
What, with a man you've known for a month?
If you know that nobody else is going, and I think that was...
that's rubbish. Tim, his best friend, is going.
Tim's going, but I did feel bad for Steve that nobody else turned up.
I couldn't believe that...
Kevin's not going. Tyrone's not going along.
Bastard.
Yeah.
Because
his excuse was like, it just didn't feel like it.
I'm just depressed on the roof still.
Yeah.
And Tyrone... Didn't Jim train Tyrone at the garage? He was like an apprentice.
Possibly.
Well, Kevin and Jim worked together, didn't they?
Did they?
At the garage.
You might be right.
He's like, I don't know. Oh, it's rubbish. I don't like. I just hold it against him, all that Katie stuff.
But I suppose, as reasons why or excuses why certain people can't go to events go, at least had a storyline purpose that it meant that Ben was like, okay, nobody else is going, I'll go with you. But also, I do kind of get that people might not want to go to Jim's funeral after he was a bit of a wrong un.
Yeah, I know, but why? Okay, right. I don't buy it for a start, because I think funerals have lots of different purposes, and one of them is to give you closure. But I do think it's weird that a bunch of people gave their excuses for not going to a funeral that we didn't see.
Yeah,
they could have just gone.
True.
Kevin went to it, but he's not coming to the pub because he don't feel like coming to the pub.
Yeah, but which means then that the reason that they made it clear that he wasn't coming is to show that Steve needed his new mate Ben.
They did not. Steve McDonald didn't need Kevin Webster's moral support to go to Jim's funeral.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice, but he's not like, I need a friend to go with me, and Kevin was my friend. They don't talk to each other. They don't really know each other. I mean, maybe they've had, maybe they had some of the friend scenes, but no, they did not have to write in that Kevin didn't go to the funeral to give Ben a reason to go. Ben would have gone anyway.
Yeah, I suppose so. You got a bit of Tracy and Cassie scenes, which are always fun. They're kind of like bickering over
who's the most important one.
Steve, yeah.
Who's the queen of the funeral?
I loved the line when he was there in his funeral suit, and one of them says, you look like you're going to court, and he said, I haven't been to court for ages.
Like defending himself. That's great.
Anyway, there was some nice callbacks
Nostalgia.
in Thursday's episode. I appreciated that, because you get a little bit of a reminder of Deirdre's funeral in there. Like we said, Samantha Failsworth supposedly turning up at Jim McDonald's funeral was definitely a name that I never expected to hear in Coronation Street ever again.
I don't know if we specifically mentioned this when we talked about the funerals in the bonus episode, but obviously it's a really good chance to talk about all of the storylines that the characters have been in, with the characters talking about it.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, they mentioned like Deirdre's funeral and how Tracy ran away from it. I think Amy brought that up, didn't they? But yeah, it was nice, and I think I'm gonna say they did a better job with Les's send-off than Jim's.
Oh.
Just because I really enjoyed that scene when they were reading out Les's will. But both of them were just that little bit unsatisfactory, because Jim didn't get a proper on-screen send-off. I get why. Les's, you had the mystery of how did he die at the factory, and it turned out did he slip, or it was just a miss.
Fell in a bread mixer.
I don't know, but I think they did a better job with Les.
Oh damn! I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was.
It's all right. It might come to you. Anyway, they all head off into the car. Then it's a break, and after the break, they're back again. What?
So we've got legends of the street, okay, that are no longer with us as characters for various reasons, like they died in the show, or they died in real life, or they've just left, okay,
yeah.
and so they feel like they're still stuck in that era of the 90s kind of golden period lots of people really loved. Is Jim one of the last characters remaining that hasn't, you know how like all, Steve was in it at the same time, etc., but they've moved with the times, whereas Jim is like a kind of like stuck in that era when you remember him. Who else is left from that golden time in Coronation Street that could have a funeral that prompts these kind of memories and
that's a really good point, actually, with characters that are still in it these days.
That we care or like remark upon. I can't think of many people like Mavis.
Yeah, Mavis maybe, if they were to I don't need, I think, as I said, Coronation Street needs to slow down with killing off the off-screen characters.
They do.
I don't. Yeah, if Mavis was killed off, that would be sad for Rita. And is there anyone linked to Ken? Maybe still that.
It's a really interesting point. I don't think we've got time to really delve into that at the moment, but it's a good thing to ponder.
Yeah, I'm just kind of racking my brains for 90s characters and who would care about it.
I think a lot of people really enjoyed the Samantha Failsworth mention because it did hark back to that era.
Yeah.
And classic Corrie's moved on from then now, hasn't it? When are we in Corrie now?
Oh, we're in 2008, I think. So way after Samantha Failsworth.
Because that was a really good, like, I think lots of people enjoyed watching that in classic, didn't they? And talking about that.
But I sometimes do wonder, like, are they going to kill off Emily at any point? Who did get a shout out the other day.
I think they're...
But she's not necessarily a 90s...
particular.
Maybe. She's not necessarily a 90s character because she spans such a breadth of time.
No, yeah. Yeah,
if they killed off Curly, is there anyone around that would still care?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Maybe...
Kevin might.
What? Yeah.
He might care if Curly...
Okay,
shuffled off his mortal coil.
We don't have to talk too much about
it.
Okay.
Anyway, they've been to the funeral later. They come back and
they've got the
order of service, haven't they, with Jim in his army uniform?
I don't think Shuttleworth did this funeral, and I can't quite believe it.
Oh yeah, maybe they didn't.
Well, they did. They weren't there.
No, that's
they were in the episode.
Well, no, who would want to go to Shuttleworth for their funeral needs at the moment? He's diddling old ladies, isn't he?
Jim loves scamming.
That's true. So anyway, yeah, Jim's there on his on the order of service. Maggie, look at the order of service. Cuts to a reaction from Maggie. Oh no, it's Jim. It's really him.
It was him as a young man in his army uniform.
I said that. Yeah, I said that.
Which would have been what seduced her, probably.
Yeah, I love a man in uniform. Then some of his old army mates show up, and I really appreciated that one of the old army mates, at least, and I don't remember their names, called people by their full names, which was a Jim McDonald trait. And because he was calling her Stephen, and I don't know whether he said Margaret. There were a couple of characters that he killed by the full names, and I'm thinking, was that is that an Irish thing, or is that something that just Jim and his army mates used to do, and they kind of got it off each other? So I thought that was a nice touch, actually, in the same way that when Ben said the other week, did he say catch yourself on, or did he say don't worry your head about it, as the little teaser that I'm related to somebody who has that as a catchphrase?
You've got to be careful when you're doing that with Jonathans and Johns.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Just going to say, apparently.
Yeah, Jonathan.
I still don't believe it. I still don't believe they're different names, but you've got to be careful because people get funny about it.
So Maggie does a full 180 and heads off into the back sharpish.
This is one of the little niggles I got about this episode, is that she looked like she was avoiding them because she knew they would recognise her, but then she spent ages just fannying around about them, making it obvious who she was and being very visible and talking.
Did she?
Yes, she did, because at one point she walks behind them.
Oh,
Just hide. All you had to do, Maggie, was hide. You didn't even have to... Oh, okay, whatever.
Well, there's a few scenes where they're just kind of sitting and talking about Jim and various other characters. This dead Katie got a little mention. And Maggie's saying, look, when are these guys going? You can't just spend the evening drinking with them. You got a heart appointment tomorrow, don't forget. I
literally cannot believe this man spent the whole day boozing, knowing he had to have a heart... What's it called?
Echocardiogram. It was fairly irresponsible, but...
Is he like, oh, no, I wanted to see the baseline of the absolute worst condition I could possibly be in.
It's like almost like he was doing it just to defy his mum somehow.
It doesn't make a lot of sense outside of the context of the drama that he is the secret son.
He is in some ways like Brian.
Brian?
Yeah, Brian Tilsley, in how much he... is controlled by his mum's whims.
Mummy's boy.
Yeah, Ma's boy. Anyway, what else do we talk? Oh, this is when the myotonic dystrophy gets brought up, isn't it? Because Amy mentions about the fact that Jim had it. What does Maggie think when she hears about Jim having myotonic dystrophy, and maybe his children could have had it, but luckily they didn't? Oh no, says Maggie. Oh my gosh. I'm going to turn to the camera and react.
There's a 50-50 chance. So she's like, he's had 3 sons and 2 of them didn't get
Yes,
get
I
it.
mean,
So,
that's the law of statistics.
The law says that he, by chance, has to...
Do you think that he will end up getting it?
Because I hope not.
I hope not.
Because that's a
bit of a death knell.
No, don't say that, because people...
Oh no, I don't mean that. I mean that
for the character, it's going to be very tough for the character to be a long-term character.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Sorry.
And so I think that, but we've said before that these are big names. Like they've got these actors. They've got and McCusker, and they've got Pauline McLean to play these characters, and they are names, established names, and Corrie doesn't often have those kind of actors stick around for a very long time, because the reason they're big names is that they go from project to project, and we're wondering how long both these actors will commit to being on Coronation Street, and it's very possible that either of them have said, I'm going to do it for 2 years, 3 years, whatever, but they've got a time limit set on it. They're not going to do it for the rest of their lives. So it would be a very handy explanation, like, I'm going back to Northern Ireland because I've got this degenerative illness and I want to be in at home or whatever.
Yeah, I just get a bit sad.
Or where did they come?
Either of those two leaving? To be
no,
honest,
I know.
you're
I
not
don't
wrong
want them
about
to either. Or going back to Hull.
I don't think that he's going to have it. I don't think anyone's going to have it. I think the risk of them having it is juicy enough for dramatic purposes, but I think honestly they'll be fine. Speaking of drama, Ollie and Leanne come in after their date, and not Leanne, Lauren, sorry, come in after their date.
Back to her old tricks again.
Yeah. And Steve has a massive go at him for parading his girlfriend around Amy and leading her up the garden path. He's very drunk at this point. Yeah, he is. He's proper sloshed. And this then causes a big bust up between Ben and Steve. Steve ends up storming out back home. Because that's the end of that. Yeah,
because Ben gets very territorial, going, "Don't talk to my own son like that in my pub." And Steve's like, "Don't, no, it's my dad's funeral, I can say what I like." And then they fall out. I can't believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like brothers.
So then we have at the end of the episode a scene with Maggie in the yard when one of these army guys joins her, and I was like, yes. This is the moment. This is when we're going to find out.
He was a very philosophical old soak, wasn't he?
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was. Do you remember I said he's got a very interesting turn and poetic turn of phrase?
I don't remember.
Very ominous.
That, but I believe you. He says, basically, I recognise you from somewhere before. And she's like, oh, I just got one of those faces,
I've been on television in a different show.
You were Jim's bit on the side, weren't you? You were his big secret. Margaret, was it? Was it Maggie? And, you had 2 young boys when you were having it off with Jim. Do you remember that? But he also said...
No, I think he said that Jim had 2 young boys.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant.
Because that wouldn't make sense.
No, you're right. Sorry, I said it wrong again.
Okay.
Anyway, he doesn't... fair play to him. He doesn't just say, I'm going to use this to blackmail you.
Yeah, he just like...
That's what everyone... Look, he's not been on the show long enough to know that that's what you do when you've got some juicy dirt.
I'm not in it for a storyline. I'm just here to make a dramatic end to this scene.
Yes, exactly. I'm not going to let any... Past's in the past. I'll say no more about it. I'm just going to leave you now so that you can react to the camera one final time this episode. Oh, says Maggie. I think I might be rumbled at some point soon. So, Friday morning comes. The bar's a tip. Ben's passed out in the booth because he didn't want to wake Eva up at night, so he slept there. And she's like, 48 minutes to get down to your appointment, Ben. Give your head a wobble. Get to that hospital. So off they toddle.
Why did she come down fully dressed to tell him he had less than an hour to get to the hospital and then act completely innocent about when they missed their appointment?
This is true. She's probably been up for an hour at least, hasn't she? Looking at her.
I'm sorry, but the excuse for why he missed his appointment was so lame because, first of all, she woke him up late. Secondly, she said that they drove around the hospital car park and it was rammed and they couldn't get space. But he refused to get out and go to his appointment himself because he wouldn't find where he was supposed to go.
Man.
That is the most useless, low effort, rubbish excuse. Why couldn't they just said he woke up late? Because it doesn't make any sense. He's a grown man. And also, our hospital, I'm sure all big hospitals have this, literally employ people to tell you where to go. And if you can't find one of those people, you can ask anybody or you can look at one of the many maps because one of the props they use in the Weatherfield General set is a giant map.
I think that he's just not particularly bothered about getting this echocardiogram done because he says to Maggie later, look, I'm fine, I've not had any symptoms.
Imagine being so laissez-faire about your health.
I know.
What a dream.
I wish that I could be.
How lovely to be so unbothered by your impending mortality.
Yeah, I just think he can really be bothered with it, to be honest. But he is also a little bit of a mummy's boy.
Do you think that he is put his head in the sand? Do you think he's not wanting to go because he's scared, but he's pretending and putting on the front? That seems
like something
realistic.
that somebody might do, but that doesn't really fit with Ben for me. I think to me he's more like, no, it's going to be fine. He's a bit more confident and a bit more bravado with his health.
Oh, I'd love to be like that.
Anyway, so yeah, they return to the pub and Maggie has a massive go at him.
Probably just drop dead one day. So
Maggie, we kind of pieced together over today's episode, is feeling especially concerned that Ben gets his ticket checked out because she thinks, he could have this condition that Jim had. So
imagine her feelings when she overheard this conversation, that not only has his dad died and now there's no chance whatsoever he's going to ever know him. I don't think she cares about that, but that she has probably, possibly concealed inadvertently this terrible medical secret. Wow.
Yeah. I feel sorry for her, but that's why you don't have affairs, people.
This is why you don't have kids, because so many things can go later.
Yeah. There's a couple of bits of dialogue throughout the episode where people are kind of getting close to not guessing what's going on, what happened with Maggie or what's wrong with her, but just giving her again more gurning time. So Eva says to her, "Look, yesterday must have really got to you, didn't it? Did Jim's funeral make you think of Ben's dad?" Maggie's like, "Oh, maybe."
Did a bit.
Yeah, one and the same.
Loved it.
So Maggie is talking with Megan out in the back later, and it felt like she was going to confess, didn't she? She's like, "I've made a mistake."
Well, she was
long time ago.
This is the garden. If you have an Irish accent, this is where you go to stand and be philosophical about your life, because that's what Jim's friend was doing, and now she's doing it to Megan.
She's doing it herself.
Yeah.
She says, "I've been paying for this mistake my whole life." And
but it's obviously poignant for Megan, because this is also the day when Megan confronts Sam.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder whether is Megan going to find out the secret first?
No, this was literally so that to give the poignancy to Megan. I think it was a layer of irony, because Megan has also made a mistake that she's going to pay for it.
But I don't know whether Megan's going to find out, and then Maggie's going to find out about Megan and Will, and Megan will say, "Well, don't tell anyone, or I'll tell people about your secret son."
What, another person? Everyone's going to find out individually that Megan's been having it off with Will, but she's going to blackmail every single person.
She's just the expert blackmailer, isn't she?
And so nobody can do anything about it. She's going to be on Lisa and Kit so that she can't be legally prosecuted, because she knows that they're both dodgy.
Yeah, well, you never know.
Well, you can work your way around the whole lot of them. There's always something they've done that they don't want anyone to know about, especially Kit. And Lisa knows what Kit's been up to half the time, so she's just as bad. You're right,
actually.
She can collect so much blackmail. That would be a really funny... If you were doing a farce of a soap opera, which sometimes Coronation Street does feel like, you could have a plot line where a character just individually blackmails everybody, and none of them know.
Yeah.
That everyone else knows. And they all just know this terrible secret, but they're too scared to say anything.
To say anything about it, yeah. Ben gets another hospital appointment coming up. He kind of jokes with Ollie about this heart condition that he's got being hereditary, and we all know what
they're worth a chuckle, don't
we all know what Maggie does when she hears that going on. So this
poor woman,
I do feel sorry for her. She's being so incredibly overdramatic, which really does. I know some viewers don't like that at all, but it doesn't bother me.
But she's clearly worried, and she deeply loves these boys, and she already said that it's the most hilarious. But if you had this dream, it would be horrific. She's telling everyone about this dream that she had. It's very comical if you didn't emotionally go through it, which was that Ben dropped dead in front of her and his heart exploded out of his chest. And she's told everybody, and their response is to laugh at her and then talk about them all dying without actually realising they're blithely discussing the possible future that they face.
Yeah, you're right. I do feel sorry for Maggie, but I think that...
She brought it on herself.
She did bring it on herself a little bit, but I think that if they toned down the reactions a little bit,
I don't
feel
think you've just got to deal. That's what she's like.
Oh yeah, I know
It
what you
doesn't
mean.
bother me really. I'm used to it now. It's just I actually quite like it.
Oh, there we go.
I just like I think it's very.
It's just
camp.
her little, it's her little trait, isn't it?
That's what she does.
Yeah.
She's not got a poker face.
I wonder.
It's called acting, Michael.
What's
should try it sometime.
Is she more worried about the heart thing, or is she more worried about the parentage thing coming out?
I think that she is worried about both, but it is really funny that there's an element of, this terrible genetic disorder is gonna out me as a strumpet.
Yeah. If she could only have one of them be revealed, if she had to have one of them be revealed, I would like to think that the health of her son and grandchildren
put him in danger.
tops,
it's such
in
an easy
the
out,
important
though, to
stakes.
just say Alan had it. No one's gonna look it up, and if they do and say, it doesn't have any record of that, they wouldn't. First of all, NHS files probably don't have records on a computer for dead people from the 90s. And secondly, nobody's going to check anyway. And if they do, she can just say, I must have misunderstood it. When you said that word, I thought I recognised it. But that would only be after they'd already checked to see if he had it.
And Maggie is conniving enough that she might...
She's so sneaky, she'd get away with it.
Yeah, she's definitely worried at the moment, but she's the sort of person who is like, well, I need to come up with a plan here. Yeah. And I think she would come up with a good one.
Yeah, it depends on how they want to write the story.
Yeah. She, at the end of the episode, she goes and sees Steve and gets more worried when she hears about just how terrible this condition is. And yes, it can affect the heart. So what's she going to do next? Let's find out.
I wonder whether they would... How would they know?
What?
I'm just thinking about the diagnostic pathway for whatever it is that they're investigating. Like, would that be on there anyway? I don't know.
I don't know. This has just reminded me of when we were watching the tram crash at Christmas, and Kevin wanted to give blood to Jack when he was in hospital, but he didn't want to let them know that he was the dad, or he didn't want Tyrone to find out that he was the dad.
Yeah, good
Just
callback.
little observation there. Anyway, that was basically the end of this story. Aside from the Ollie and Lauren stuff, which I didn't really go much either way, I of course would have loved to have seen a proper funeral for Jim. I would have liked to have seen what Steve had said with him about him in the eulogy. But yeah, I enjoyed the drama. I can't lie, as silly and as retconny as it is. So should we move on? From cheerio now to toddaloo. Toddloo. Happy with this. Unlike the people online, some of whom may well be listening, who are ready for the end of this storyline, I'm still very happy for it to keep on going. I think that this week gave it the boost and the kick up the bum that it needed to transfer, just to change things into a new direction. And I'm really, really fascinated by seeing what Theo is up to now. I just love watching Theo. He's a really great character, and I'm sorry to all the Theo haters out there. I really think he's a fun villain. Can
I just say?
You know what I mean.
I need to say something. For the good of mankind and our mental health as a collective, I think people need to stop conflating discussion of storylines with real life situations. Because I've seen lots of people getting quite upset if anyone criticises this storyline and says, Todd should do this, or I don't like this storyline, I wish it was over. And they get upset because they have personal experience with abusive and coercive relationships, and they feel like it's undermining their experience, or they feel attacked in some way. It really isn't about talking about real people when we criticise a story and the way people act in it, because these are fictional characters and they're driven by what the writers decide they do.
Yeah.
So if you have a problem with the story, you're not criticising someone who would be in Todd's position, or someone, we're talking about how the story is constructed and how it's portrayed on screen. Because I still have a problem with the way that Todd
isn't leaving.
Yeah, and I do think there are so many valid reasons and so many stories I've heard about why you can't leave, and I totally believe it, and I I understand completely the situations people find themselves in. I'm hugely sympathetic and I get it. I really do get it. But I don't think that it's reflected in Todd's situation. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't want anyone to extrapolate from that. I am attacking anybody who's been in a situation like this.
I don't think anyone is.
No,
you must be glad that they've split up this week, though,
I am
you?
so glad.
Yeah, because you don't have that niggle anymore.
Well, it's not. It was just. I'm just glad for Todd, really. I know that when you're talking about coercive relationships and abusive relationships, very often the person, it's not, I mean, most of the statistics we have about domestic abuse are from women leaving men, and I think the stats are something like 6 or 7 times is how many times somebody
6, 7.
Oh no. It's how many times somebody attempts to leave before they're successful. So if this is following the trajectory of a real, if it's trying to reflect real life, which they're not always trying to do, just to remind everybody, they're not always trying to do that. Sometimes they're not, and it's really hard to tell the difference sometimes, which is also a criticism I have. But if they're following that real life example, then they'll get back together. I don't think it's going that way, because we all think something's going to happen to Theo on the 23rd.
Well, yeah, we've got, 5 weeks now until that?
They're supposed to get married in 10 days, aren't they?
Yeah, something like that. They've still got plenty of time to get back together. But Theo's behaviour this week has very much... but he's acting to make Todd jealous, isn't he?
He's being manipulative and sinister.
Yeah, he's wanting to get back with Todd, so it wouldn't surprise me. But then if that happened, how frustrating would it be for us? Because...
What did you say?
If Todd was lured back into the big muscular arms of Theo, would we be like, oh no, not this again?
This is the tough thing to do, long-term storylines about things like this. This is why the OCD storyline with Craig went nowhere. They did it for a few months and then they thought, I can't bother with this anymore.
Work with Yasmin and Jeff. I suppose if Theo were to get Todd back, what I would be wanting as a viewer and lover of villain storylines, for there to be the biggest, most most awful act between Theo and Todd yet. Like, he's kicked him on the floor, he's poured milk over his head, he's force fed him a kebab. If they're going to go back to Theo going back with Todd again, I'd want them to ramp that up even more.
Oh, that's vicious.
I don't know. It's not. I love Todd, and I know he's going to come out of this absolutely fine. This is a story that I'm really invested in, and often if I know that a character is going to come out fine, I can accept horrible things happening to them if it's going to make me go, oh, that Theo, oh, grr, shake my fist at him, Yes. If it gets me on the edge of my seat. That's what I want from Corrie.
I wonder whether they will be back together by the end of April, like by the 23rd. Will they be back in a relationship? Did the Theo that we saw in the flash forward, was that a Theo that was in a relationship with Todd? Had he wheedled his way back into his life and done something terrible?
I wonder...
Or is he about to get killed by Todd?
I wonder, if we were to go and look back at the clip again, is he wearing the ring that he took off and gave to Todd this week? Because that would be a massive clue, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but again...
And I've not been back and looked at this.
Again, they may not... They're not going to use that. Just because he wouldn't be wearing it in that scene doesn't mean he wouldn't be wearing it on the 23rd of April when they do the episode. They might be reluctant to give too many clues.
I don't know. I think that they want people speculating. They want people noticing things. And I think that if
it's not the same. I'm telling you, it's not the same clip, don't you? We've said this before. It's not a clip from the episode.
No,
it's going to be broadcast on the 23rd of April.
I know.
I know you
but
know that.
If they wanted to put a few clues, because there can't be very many clues, but if they wanted to, they could have Theo wearing the ring again, which is telling us, they are going to get back together again. I don't know. Maybe we mostly saw him from chest upwards, didn't we? Yeah, so we might not even seen his thing, because I don't know. I don't think
you're getting my point. I totally agree with you, but what I'm saying is, if you watch it and he's doesn't have the ring on his finger, that doesn't mean that they wouldn't put the ring on his finger for the episode.
I don't.
The only thing the only thing I'm completely sure of is that Maggie's going to have a fringe.
It doesn't mean that, but I do think that Corrie will have planned out those flash forward scenes very, very carefully. Because you've got your people whose literal job is to sit there and watch for continuity, and sometimes things slip through because people make mistakes.
Artistic.
But this, I think they'd want to be getting absolutely right.
Those flash forwards were artistic representations of what's going to happen. They weren't clips from the show. They're not going to be all standing under the fireworks like a bunch of gunslingers about to do the last gunfight at the OK Corral, standing by themselves, pretending they can't see each other and looking sad. Because that's what you're supposed to surmise from where they were all standing when the fireworks were going on. Unless these fireworks are like half an hour long, which I can't believe that they could afford. ITV can't afford
this
it.
This is Carla and Lisa's wedding, Gemma, and the ultimate best Corrie, most important Corrie wedding in the past.
I will be so shocked
decade
if they are even standing in the same places.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
We will see.
We will see. What's been going? Do you want to run down a little bit more about how this split happened this week? It was Theo's birthday on Monday. Happy birthday, Theo.
Oh no,
Sorry,
it wasn't
Lisa.
a good birthday. It wasn't a good birthday because he got a load of crap presents.
Well, I mean, we got a blender in the post literally the same day, didn't we? Because our NutriBullet gave up the ghost at the weekend, and we're like, no, we definitely need that. So when he got a blender, I mean, it wasn't an actual
ours is much better than his.
Ours was definitely better than his. So maybe that's what he's mostly mad about.
Well, yeah, because you've got an extract button or anything.
The thing with Theo is, he looks for opportunities to wear Todd down at every opportunity.
He was probably thrilled when he had a crap birthday.
That's
what I'm like when you don't get me a present. I said, don't get me a present, and you don't get me one, and I'm thrilled.
He may well have liked the idea of having a blender for his birthday. It's almost like he'd thought, whatever it is that Todd gets me with this paltry amount of cash that I gave him last week, I'm going to make sure that he feels utterly rubbish about it by the end.
Yeah, what a great opportunity it's provided him to make Todd feel like crap.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Theo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't a great haul, was it?
2 presents.
Because obviously, this is what happens when you financially abuse your boyfriend. You can't buy you good presents.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also wasn't getting anything from the kids, was he? Because he says, well, looks like that's the lot then, which is another sly dig. Like, oh, you've not got me any more. But really, he's also thinking, I've not had anything from Miles or Millie. That's their names, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And the little bit of me that feels sorry for Theo, and there is a little bit of me that does, because he's had a very difficult past.
I'm going to have to put you on the register of sympathisers.
I am on the slight register of them. I'm mostly not.
You can't say anything nice about him because you're cancelled.
We've been made to feel sympathetic to him in various ways, with his elastic band twanging on his wrist and all that. But anyway, the tiny bit of me does make me think, yes, he...
Sorry, I just opened TikTok.
He's like, yes, he cheated on his wife, he was having an affair, but that doesn't... I feel bad for him losing his relationship with his children. He didn't cheat on his children.
I think they would say differently.
Maybe, but I do feel bad for the guy that he's lost that relationship with his kids.
Well, I feel sorry for the actors who play Millie and Miles because they haven't been in it.
They're not in it for months now.
So
there's my controversial comment of the week this week, everybody, listeners.
And why would you visit a baby?
Sympathy for Theo.
Babies that even know you exist.
Talking of babies, we didn't see any of Connie this week, did we? We heard her in that scene where David and Shona were on the sofa, and David's like, where's that baby coming from? And Shona's, they just borrowed a baby.
I love that. That was so
a great
funny.
Little bit of dialogue, that was.
Right, so Todd goes off to work, and Theo's like, don't forget your wallet because we're having lunch. So George is hungover at the Undertaker's because he had his merry time at the pub, and then he also had a devastating time, which is the best time to drink. And he goes off to painkillers, and Todd's there going, I've got to go out, please hurry up. And he ends up being late to meet Theo at the bistro.
It's all right though, because Theo's got some other mates there.
He's such a gregarious guy. He makes friends everywhere he goes. And his busy mate, Gary's there, and his beautiful bird, Maria. And they come in and gate crash his lunch because he invites them to join him.
Yeah,
and they're like, this is weird. Okay,
I think it was you that said when we were watching it, like, he's going to make Theo and Todd pay for them now.
Yep, it's such an obvious. It's so obvious.
Although he obviously didn't. He knew that he couldn't pay for him.
It's not criticism. It's just sometimes things are obvious because they are logical, and that's what's going to happen. It doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
So Todd's not turned up. Theo tries to call Millie, and she's not interested in talking to him, and he's upset about it. So by the time Todd arrives, Theo's in a bad mood. That he's late as well, and when the meal is over, Theo tells Todd, "Oh, by the way, because I'm such a nice bloke, I said you'd pay for Gary and Maria." And they're like, "Oh, this is awkward. Don't worry,
they offer to pay
for
don't they?
ourselves." And he's like, "Oh, no, I insist. So Todd goes up, and he's only got 80 quid. And, you know, that... Oh, the other thing that happened was that Theo ordered the most expensive bottle of wine, and we were having a discussion, weren't we, about what could possibly be the most expensive bottle of wine at the bistro.
I couldn't contribute much to that discussion, to be fair.
I mean, I don't know what their wine cellar's like, but you can spend 100 quid on a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
I don't think the bistro is fancy, but I think it's got pretensions. So who knows how much
really
this
got
actually...
pretensions.
Who knows how much... Well, they've got fake truffle oil, so you can't trust them. Who knows how much this really costs, but he's only got 80 quid. So he asks Nick, "Can I pay the rest in a few days?" And Nick is not sympathetic, not helpful.
He's a
winces.
businessman.
He's like, "Oh, we don't..." He doesn't help him out, which I thought was a bit naff. These characters have got history. They've known each other.
They've got history.
They've known each other for decades, and he can't spot this guy.
I know.
For a meal.
No, but
I mean, Todd's got no way of paying, but Nick doesn't know that.
no, but I would still say that's in Nick's character.
Yeah,
to
he is
be
an arse.
so dry and by the book.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think we can do that.
Cannot go out
If we
of
start
the
doing
standard,
that, then everyone will want free food.
Yeah.
So Theo comes up and he's like, "Why aren't you paying?" "Oh, put it on your card." And Todd's like, gives him this look like, "What the hell are you talking about?" He glowers at him. And Theo's just blithely smiling, going, "Oh, well, I guess I'll have to pay." He's loving it. He's literally revelling in this.
Yeah.
And he gets a dig in, like, "I'll pay for my own birthday meal, will I? Don't worry." But he doesn't do it in a nasty way because Nick's there.
Yeah, he's just kind of joking.
He's being very jovial and cheerful. He saves all of the nastiness for when they're alone. They get home and Theo calls Todd a pathetic, useless waste of space. And Todd's like, "I can't fight you now, I'm tired." And Theo's like, "Well, I'm tired too. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of you." And he gets very moody and he wants to get some more wine because he's already had a lot of alcohol. And so Todd says, "Look, don't have any money to buy you more wine. Please don't get more drunk. It puts you in a bad mood." And Theo says, "Well, yeah, of course I'm in a bad mood. I'm having a terrible birthday. I got a rubbish present. Fiasco at the bistro." And Todd's like, "Look, let me, I'll look after you. I'll make you coffee." And Theo says, "Oh, you screw that up as well."
Yeah, I think when we, for Theo's birthday episode, it does kind of write itself that there was going to be some kind of
showdown.
That's a good word for it, in the evening. And in terms of Corrie showdowns between these two, it was fairly tame. I still think probably that one of the worst things was when he smashed Todd's face into the mirror. That was like that. Oh my god, I can't believe they did this. And chucking some coffee around.
Well, he throws cups and throws them on the floor, and then he turns his back and picks something up, and Todd grabs him from behind to stop him throwing things. Theo swivels around, and he's got this Stanley knife, like a little
box
like a
cutter,
blade.
yeah. And in a way, I suppose that you
it.
could say, well, that is the highest it's ever escalated. He's literally holding a blade to him. But I think as a viewer thinking, he's not going to slit his throat today. He's not going to stab him. He's not going to use it. It didn't quite hit the heights of some of the other ones.
They would have had real big discussions behind the scenes about what level of violence are we going to portray in this scene, in that scene, in this scene, in that scene. Because this Stanley knife was a very deliberate choice, and it's very interesting that they picked this because it doesn't look like a big knife. It doesn't look like a big, You could have had a massive butcher's knife in there. That's the classic brandishing at your partner.
Well, especially
in
if
a
you get
domestic
it from the
violence
sink.
scene.
Like,
Yeah.
how many people have got a Stanley knife sitting around the kitchen
Most
sink?
people don't have it in the kitchen at all. I think maybe it was supposed to be left over from when he
It's
fixed
because he's got
the cupboard.
he's got a manly job, isn't it? Oh yeah, I suppose it could have been, couldn't it?
But this wasn't. It doesn't feel like I'm going to inflict a fatal injury on you with this.
Well, you could probably do a bit of a mischief, couldn't you?
Of course you could. I would rather be stabbed with a giant butcher's knife than a tiny little slash with one of these things. That could do.
It's like a paper cut. It can really sting.
But you could just be shredded.
Yeah.
When you score like, pork belly or something, you can make so many slashes. It really made me cringe. Like in a visceral that's horrible. I would hate facing that down.
I found Todd's reaction very interesting to this as well, because this is like the demonstration of how low he's sunk when he basically is like, go on then. Do you think I'll care anymore? Stab me if you like.
Yeah, go on, stab me.
There's nothing left for me. So
and Theo's like, oh, well. Lowers the weapon and Todd storms out.
But I think Theo has realised at this point, I have gone too far. I don't think he plans to do this. I don't know how much he plans. Obviously, some of the things he does are 100% planned, but there's other bits where he's spontaneous. He never planned to chuck coffee things around the kitchen because it was Todd who offered to give him the coffee. This knife to the throat.
He just wants attention.
This knife to the throat isn't planned.
He didn't put a knife to his throat,
Oh,
did he?
Knife, just brandishing at him.
No.
The dating app thing on Friday's episode, was planned. And I think when he did this, he realised, I need to scale back a little bit, and he's kind of a bit embarrassed.
I didn't get that impression.
Oh, well,
I think he just thought, it didn't work how I wanted because Todd's not scared of me. I want Todd to be scared, and I want him to pay attention and placate me and try to fawn over me. And he's not. He's just stormed off.
But
he's not getting he's not getting the reaction that's going to feed.
But we've seen the guilt that he's felt over Billy's death. And I don't think he's turned into the sort of person who would just willfully kill willy-nilly. Well, I got away with one, now I'm going to do another. He really regrets killing Billy, I think. And I think at this stage, he's kind of looked at himself in the mirror almost, thinking, I've almost killed again.
No.
What have I become?
I don't think that's
monster
true.
am I?
No, I don't think that's true. But I know that you've got a different perspective.
I do.
On it than I do. I think he regrets killing Billy because it made him feel guilty and he's mad about that. I think you can feel guilty about something that you didn't mind doing.
No, I know.
Yes, you can.
Well,
you can go, oh yeah, that's the achievement I wanted to get, but I still feel bad about, and that mixed emotions.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Well, it doesn't matter. So on Tuesday, what?
It's fine.
What?
This just doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter that we don't agree.
No. It's better
people
if we don't
who
agree.
are listening will have different opinions as well.
They'll be on your side, they always are.
No, that's not true.
What happened on Tuesday, the aftermath
It's not
of
a
this?
competition. Anyway.
I know, I can't.
On Tuesday, it's competition street. On Tuesday, it's the morning after. Todd's cleaning up broken cups and telling George he feels like he's got the flu, so he can't come in. And he looks super deflated and miserable. Theo's in the van outside.
Oh yeah, he's
sleeping
slept
in the
overnight,
van,
hasn't he?
and he's looking in the windows, trying to work out what's going on. But when he sees Gary walking along, he quickly drives away so that Gary can't talk to him. Gary's very confused. So he goes to the cafe by himself, and on his phone he has this app that has got a tracker on Todd. And I'm not sure that Todd's aware of this.
Yes, he is. Because this was what he was using
have
to track him while he was jogging, wasn't it? And Todd definitely.
Okay,
found out
but I
about
think that he is forgotten.
He might. Well, yeah, he
Because
might.
if I broke up with
but...
somebody because I said if we broke up with me or whatever, I would take that off my phone.
It is odd because you could unshare your location.
I think he's forgotten. He knew it was there to start with, but he can't possibly be okay with leaving it on there if he remembered it was there.
Just like Daenerys forgot the fleet of iron ships just coming towards them. Yeah,
just forgot.
Plot convenience.
Well, so he's spying on Todd on his app.
Particularly because I thought that this watch, didn't Theo get Todd the watch specifically for his running? And that came hand in hand with, I'm going to track you and make sure you... it doesn't matter.
I know that he knows. I know that
I know
Yeah, but
that
I would,
he knows.
but I would think that
But I
this is
think
my
he's
tracking watch
forgotten.
that Theo used.
Well, why? Okay, explain why he hasn't taken it off then.
He doesn't know how. He's a massive Luddite. There
You
we
can
go.
just throw it in the water.
And it's really fashionable. He really loves.
There's no
wearing it.
explanation for why he's left the ability for Theo to track him, other than he, 1, wants it to happen, or 2, has forgotten, or 3, like you said, can't remember how to undo it and is too dumb to ask for help.
I think that forgetting is the most likely
Yes.
one, but I'm not completely satisfied that he would have forgotten. That's all.
Okay, well, maybe he's dumber than you think. Maybe you are Theo and you think that Todd is a stupid idiot and a waste of space.
I love Todd.
So Todd's still in the flat. When Gary comes over, he quickly hides it, and Gary's like, "Oh, you're sleeping in your van again." So Theo then admits that he and Todd had a row, but he says, "Oh, we'll get back on track." So meanwhile, Todd's trying to make a smoothie, but the blender doesn't switch on because he got this janky cheap thing because he doesn't have any money because Theo took it all. So he gets really frustrated and just throws the whole thing on the floor just as Gary walks in. And Todd's freaking out and starts cleaning up. And Gary says, "Oh, look, I'm sorry, I just lost it. The machine didn't work."
Did they say why Gary was able to walk in? I can't remember now. Just wandering into someone else's house.
He didn't lock the door, maybe. Not everybody locks the door.
He forgot to.
Not everyone locks their door.
I know.
So Gary puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "Oh, it's all right. I heard that you and Theo have been going through a rough patch." And he tells Todd that Theo slept in his van last night, which obviously Theo wanted Todd to know about because he wants him to feel bad. So Todd's like, "Oh, how did it come to this? Could we
Makes me wonder when, and that scene on Tuesday when Theo was in his van kind of looking up at the window, was he thinking, can Todd see me now?
Look at
Am
me."
I in a prime position
Yeah,
for ultimate guilt?
Yeah. So Todd's like, "Oh, will we ever get back together? We'll be okay." And Gary's like, "You can be if you both really want this to happen." And Gary's a really interesting character to be thrown into this, especially considering the abandoned toxic masculinity storyline that he was going down after Lou attacked him.
Yeah.
He turned into a raging misogynist and, fragile in his manhood. And I don't think Gary's the kind of bloke who's got super loads of gay friends. And so he's involving himself in this relationship and kind of probably patting himself on the back going, "Yeah, I'm really cool. I'm super progressive and helping my gay friends to get back together." But when he finds out that he's kind of led the lamb to the slaughter, how is he going to feel about himself?
Yeah,
Because he sees himself as a good guy, doesn't he? Gary definitely believes in himself as a moral force.
Yeah, even though he knows that he's done wrong in the past, he's
but he did it for just like Kit. He did it for good reason.
Yeah, I think he definitely considers himself a one of life's good guys now.
I would really like to see this shock and rock him, because I think I'm interested in the kind of peripheral characters of this.
Yeah, I am as well. Who's going to find out? And Christina is partly involved, isn't she? And Gary, he doesn't have much to do on this show anyway, but he's definitely on the side for good, but inadvertently has sided more with Theo because he's kind of more Theo's mate than Todd's at the moment.
Coronation Street's covered domestic abuse storylines before, but they haven't done a same-sex one, so this is different in that perspective. But they have kind of mentioned the helplessness that you feel, but I think it would be quite helpful to focus on some of the other characters a bit more, because it's a lot of us, a lot of people have experiences of being in abusive relationships, but there's also lots of people that have had experiences of not knowing what to do when their friend or their relative is in that situation. And could Coronation Street, if it feels like it has to educate as well as entertain, could it help people to see or work through their feelings of I can't believe I didn't notice? Is Gary going to stand in for the people who I can't, this was going on the whole time and I didn't know? Because sometimes I've had a friend who it's obvious what's happening,
But there are lots of people who are totally blindsided by
Yeah.
that. And that's not really happened before in Coronation Street because, like, everyone knew what was going on with Jeff and Yasmin. Well, no, that's not
No,
true,
that's
actually.
not true
'cause-
at all.
Well, but we didn't focus on them. We focused on Alia, who did know, didn't we? I don't know.
No, I mean, there was
Well, at the end,
there was a long period of time where nobody knew.
Well, everyone thought he was great, didn't they?
Yeah.
But we didn't really see them going, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. Do you think that Gary will feel that way?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's been a long time. I can't remember
I
exactly.
can't remember all the details of that, to be honest.
But yeah, so we've got two different groups of people here. You've got Maria and Gary who are fooled by Theo, and you've got Christina who is kind of...
She kind of flip-flops,
She's
doesn't
backed off
she?
a bit now.
Yeah. Well, she's got her own worries at the moment, hasn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's interesting, and the involvement of Gary in this storyline is really interesting because, like I said, he kind of like is very masculine. He had that issue with him, feeling like he was what's he called, emasculated by Lou. The reason I'm bringing up masculinity is I think that there's a big issue with men talking about being victims of domestic abuse, and people stigmatise them because of their masculinity. Yeah. And so to have a character who struggled with that already, but I don't think that Todd would feel that way about it. That's the thing. I don't think Todd's like, oh no, my manly status has been
No, I don't
troubled.
think Todd cares one jot about his manly status.
Which is interesting because it's an untapped like subject that could be very useful for Coronation Street. But do they think they did it with Tyrone?
Maybe,
But Tyrone's not a manly, roughy-tufty man, is he? He's just got a manly
only in
job.
his head.
Anyway, so Gary's like the shepherd of like the relationship guru, trying to get them back together. He brings Theo back into the flat, and Todd apologises for everything that's happened.
Yeah, he says, "I'm really sorry," and Theo's like, "Are you?"
And he's like, Todd's like, "Are you not? I am. We can't keep going round and round like this." And Theo says, "Yeah, you know what? We should knock this on the head. We both know it's over." At this point, Gary has gone, right?
Yeah.
So he says, well, look, it's over. Every nice moment we had is ruined with a fight. And Todd doesn't know how to react to this. And Theo's like, oh, you'll get over me. See you later. Sorry for everything. Take your ring. I'm off.
So why did Theo split up with him? Because and then basically spend the rest of the week.
He wants Todd.
Does he actually think it's over? I feel like with what he was doing with the dating app, to me that was his way of getting Theo back. So Todd back. So what's the benefit for him for splitting up with him and then taking him back again? Is it just to make Todd more grateful and more loving towards him when they do get back together?
He thinks that he is going to win him back.
Or is it just about control?
Yeah.
And he didn't want Todd to be the one to split up with him, so he did it first. So the cards are all in his hands. Yeah.
I think that he's certain they'll get back together, and I think the longer that doesn't happen, the more desperate he's going to get.
Yeah.
But he wants the upper hand, and so he wants Todd to win him back. And then he can say, whenever they have a fight, he'll be like, oh, well, you wanted to get back together again.
Yeah, you're right, actually. He needs Todd to be the one to invite him back.
It's like a vampire. On Wednesday, Todd is listening to Conversation Street.
Oh, he's got his meditation podcast,
We were going to open with a meditation, weren't we?
I totally forgot that.
Oh, dear.
Well, never mind.
Well, we can do it now, can't we?
No, I'm not one for...
Close your eyes and feel the suction of the vacuum cleaner as you vacuum your carpets and listen to this podcast.
Feel the soapy suds of the sink.
Get those
Run
dishes
between your
clean.
fingers as you're scrubbing those plates and forks.
Chop that onion. Imagine it's the face of your worst enemy and obliterate it with the knife in your hand.
Pick up that dog poo and just leave it on the next car's bonnet that you can find.
Or tie it to a branch of a tree. The children would appreciate its cheerful appearance as they walk through the woods.
Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we?
I think
Easy stuff.
another idea, a great idea for a podcast. So look out for that coming to your feed soon. We'll drop a bonus episode in the main feed. I hate it when podcasts don't do that.
Do what?
Where they just start another podcast and they go, right, here you go.
Oh.
It's like, I don't want this one. Okay, right. So Todd's listening to this and he goes on a jog and there's a picture of him and Theo and he like turns it over, heads out, and we hear this voice over continuing. George is getting his service cancelled. Todd runs down Victoria Street, and then the audio of the podcast ends as he runs into Maria, Gary, and Theo.
Yeah, it's a very abrupt, like almost
Yeah,
like
it's like really awkward because
needle
obviously
on the record.
Theo's been staying with them. Then we get George. Todd goes to work, and he's getting a new bank card, so
Starting
it's
his
really
life
positive.
again.
It really feels positive. But you know, because this is Coronation Street, that this is not over and it's going to get worse before he's out of the woods.
Yes.
So he feels like, you know, he's getting his card, he's getting on with his life. I sincerely hope, because we don't know whether he's got access to his bank. He certainly hasn't by the end of the week. I really wonder if Theo's drained his account. Because he's had a few weeks now of not spending any of his money.
Yeah.
Has he got a nice big bonus in there now? Is that like a nice... Oh, good.
Possibly. Yeah,
Mind you, he's in debt though, isn't he?
I'm only kind of not too thrilled about that because it's mirroring what Carl's doing with Debbie a little bit too much. With the financial abuse and stealing draining her bank accounts. It's a feel a bit samey.
So Todd goes to the pub with George, Christina and Sarah later, and he's just talking to them about it, saying we can get over some of the things, and he's not mentioning any of the behaviour that Theo was, you know, very problematic behaviour. Theo's there and he's like, oh, I'll go, and Gary's like, no, you've got as much right to be here as anybody.
Do you think that would he be safe to do that? Because now Theo's not...
Theo would be safe to what?
So sorry, Todd. Now that Theo's not part of his life, why can't he say, tell you what, this is what happened when I was with Theo?
Because he's embarrassed, probably. Because it's personal.
He's just relieved that it's over, I suppose, and doesn't want to dwell on it. And you're right, maybe.
I wouldn't talk about things like that. I think Todd's quite guarded.
I wonder whether, you know, if with Theo on this dating app, if he brings home somebody, would Todd feel compelled to warn him in the same way that Owen did at Canal Street?
No, because he still hasn't quite understood what's happened to him.
I think he has. I think he's understood it, but just been too scared to act on it. He knows that he's being abused. He knows that it's not right. I don't think he
has. That's an interesting. I wonder what everyone else thinks.
Because he's been close to leaving, hasn't he? He packed his bags a few weeks ago.
I don't know. I don't know what he thinks. I think that sometimes people who have been in this situation will say that they did, that, you know, it took time and perspective to really fully comprehend what they were going through, and because Theo's brainwashed him a bit to make him think he blames himself, like it was equal. I think he says that, you know, we both couldn't get on with each other.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he probably blames himself without realising he was manipulated into most of the negative behaviour. So,
they end up
they
building
talk,
the pub, don't they?
and they say, oh, we should be friends. And Todd's really confused as Theo goes on about, oh, you never knew the real me. I want you to know you'll have a special place in my heart. Again, he's trying to be like this super mature and like
in touch with his emotions and
thoughtful.
Yeah, and he's realised he's made mistakes, but Todd's not having any of it, is he?
Yeah, he's stone faced.
Good for him. Yeah,
and Sarah comes out with his wine, and she's like, "Oh, that's good that you know that you're going to be friends, even though you've broken up." Todd gets quite drunk after quite a lot of drinking with his mates supporting him. And James says, look, I'll walk you home. But Theo is in his van watching them as because he's tracking Todd on his phone, and he's absolutely furious when he sees that James is escorting him into the flat.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a bit of a Pat Phelan style, kicks his feet up.
He did. Well, didn't Theo also have a bit of a moment in the van? Was it a car? I don't remember. A couple of weeks ago when he was listening to something on the radio. Gosh, I can't remember what it was, but he was parked outside the corner flat, and he also had a bit of a screaming fit.
Who did?
Todd.
Todd did?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, everybody's mad about everything.
In the car.
Yeah, but I thought he was very athletic with that.
He was. I wouldn't be able to do it.
No, get your feet up by where your face is. Incredible work.
Tell you what, Comet from Gladiators, she could definitely do it.
You know who else could do it?
Who?
Legend.
Of course he could.
On Thursday, Theo...
I bet that Theo, like, models himself off of Legend from Gladiators, doesn't he?
So cool. Theo talks to Summer and George about James stopping at Theo's last night. He's mad about it. And he's
Todd's
like, well...
last night.
Yeah. And he's like, good luck to him, I don't even care.
No, he doesn't say it like that, does he? He's acting like he is being very benevolent and like it's like, oh well, you know, I've turned over a new chapter. Good luck to him.
I don't think he realises how psychotic he's coming off, because he's pretending to be fine and moving on, like because he thinks that's what's going to make Todd jealous. But actually, he just seems like a psycho who's come out of a pretty serious relationship. And the next day he's pretending he doesn't care.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Because he's got no conception of how he's coming off.
No, you're right.
Because his target audience is Todd.
Mm.
And he's telling Summer and George this because he wants it to get back to Todd so that Todd will be jealous.
Yeah.
Next thing is Theo gets up to a bit of mischief, doesn't he? Because he
Oh,
sees Annie, who is the widow, who is getting mad at George in speed dial.
Yes.
And he comes up to her and he's like, oh yeah, George has been diddling old ladies for years out of cash, including my mum, and his sidekick's just as bad. Good luck in your case.
Yeah, which gives... And then the next day, it's all over. I mean,
well, Friday, it ups the ante because George isn't just getting cancellations and bad reviews. He's got these dodgy fake news websites talking about him, saying that, you know, it's like gossip sites, isn't it? Saying... that he's a scammer.
Gone viral, Gemma.
I can't believe it.
Even Maggie's heard about it, hasn't she?
Well, she's mad because it's given bad press to the pub, she thinks.
I thought that was a bit of
a weird...
Yeah. The fact...
No, it's weird that she thinks that, but I totally believe that her character would react like this.
What, and throw him out?
Well, yeah.
I suppose...
She's got precedent.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, you're bringing the good name of the Rovers' return into disrepute. If only she'd known what other things have been going on.
This is true. I'm glad that they remembered that Glenda works there as well, because they could have very easily had her throw George out and Glenda be none the wiser about it.
Yeah, so Christina... She throws George out, she chucks Christina out, Glenda threatens to quit, so Maggie fires her, and then...
I love the line later on in the episode where Christina's like, I can't believe I've been barred from a pub. It's only happened 3 times before.
I thought that was great. But I also love the bit where Todd's trying to defend them, and Maggie's like, shut up or you'll be next. And they all, when they leave, Todd's like... Christina and George are like, well, we're leaving.
I will never darken these doors again, says Christina.
Like,
it's I'll probably come back. That was so good. That was a really good. Gareth Peirce has been so good in this storyline, and a lot of it is with the heavy dramatic stuff, but just the little lines like that, it's just brilliant.
That felt like a classic Corrie line to chuck in.
Yeah, and yeah, it was
like a comedy.
Yeah, but without being like farcical or stupid or somebody's acting like a moron. That was a funny little line, but it wasn't a laugh out loud. Clutch my sides funny.
He wasn't trying to be funny.
No.
He wouldn't have said that in real life, but it's funny because it's a silly thing to say.
It was just right there.
Yeah. Right, so they're all out, aren't they? Mm-hmm. They
temporarily.
They go to speed dial. I don't know why they need to go. They need to go somewhere they can all sit together. So Theo walks in because he's tracked Todd there, and Todd goes over to him and says... And Theo says to him, I've been telling everybody about poor George's accusations are a bunch of lies. Yes. Hang on, my phone's going off. I'm getting all these notifications from this dating app. Oh, look at this one. Nah, look at this one. Oh, yeah, maybe him. It's such a weird move to make. I wonder if this will work on Todd. I just think Todd's too smart.
You might say that Todd is quite smart and canny and switched on, but equally, you could say, well, he's been worn down so much by these months with Theo that maybe that...
But this would give me the ick. I'd be like, oh, well, all right then. Move on, you dirty bugger.
I think that Todd is, although he's relieved to be out of the relationship, there is a little bit of him that's probably feeling like, oh, maybe, this is my fault. Maybe we should get back to...
I mean, the
He's
thing
going
we
to be
haven't
feeling what?
the thing we haven't really spoken about or thought about is that, you know, he probably does have very strong feelings and he loves him still.
Yeah, exactly. And this is days later,
Yeah.
and the guy that he loves, that he thought he would marry, is looking
Yeah.
at dating sites already without a care in the world. It's almost like
See,
he's
this
just
is-
dropped him and it's not affected him whatsoever.
This is why I think he doesn't realise he was in an abusive relationship.
Why?
Because he wouldn't care. He wouldn't be jealous. He'd be worried for the men. He wouldn't still go, oh, I loved him.
I still think that he
Or maybe
knew.
he would. I don't... Other people can step in there if they want to give any, you know, any perspective. But I don't think he thinks what happened to him was an abusive relationship.
I think that he
I think he probably might say,
He's
"Oh, there were
suspecting,
elements of
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
element." I think that I don't think you can be in a relationship like it didn't end because Todd wanted to leave because of the abuse.
But some people will go back to relationships that people know were bad for them because they feel like there's an element of safety in there.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
now he's on his own in this flat, feeling very vulnerable after everything that happened,
Yeah.
and maybe
Just
like
want some comfort.
yeah, exactly.
You're like, better the devil you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So later on, Maggie's like, "Sorry, Glenda. Sorry, George.
This was after
You can-
she spoke to
yeah.
Megan, I think, wasn't it?
I'm really stressed out about Ben's heart problem. You can get work here."
I've never seen Maggie be as humble as she was in that scene.
No, she's a bit of a humble crumble, isn't she? But I don't think it's going to last.
No, absolutely not. Right. So yeah, nice little turning point for this storyline this week.
And now
I'm
we get-
genuinely interested to know what is going to happen next, because we're kind of in the middle of it feels like it's out of the routine. Anything could happen. That's
And
what I
now
want.
we get to talk about Alia
Oh yeah, lovely Alia.
and her variety of luxury cars she got to sit in this week.
Yes, and dog poo. Let's get started
Luxury
with that.
cars and dog poo.
Yeah, I didn't mean it to sound like she sat in dog poo this week.
Luxury cars and poo.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh gosh. Right, okay.
I was going to try and sing a different song, but I forgot the tune.
That's all right. Don't worry. That's all right. Much ado about a doo-doo this week. So, Shona's forgotten to watch Lily's PE kit because she's such a neglectful stepmother. Now that
Yeah.
there's a new baby in the house.
Jodie uses the word neglect, doesn't she? Very
Did she?
specifically. She said, "Sorry, your parents are neglecting you."
Oh no, she's going to talk to her DSL at school, and they're going to have the phone call.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Shona says that there's just so much going on with Harper at the moment, and Lily says, "By the way, Jodie, I'm not going to tell anybody about the box because you'll keep that one in the back pocket to reveal later, I guess." There was nothing more. We didn't even get to see the box this week, did we?
No, what do you think? She thinks she's put the poo in there as a memento of her time with David.
I don't know. Maybe she just stored it there overnight before she put it back on top of the car bonnet again. I don't know.
I want them to make a visual joke of her box gradually getting larger and larger as she puts more outlandish things in it.
So David and Shona are having a lovely, nice relax later, and this is when Shona's explaining to her about the borrowed baby from next door, which is hilarious. But they talk about the fact that Harper's going to be coming home soon, and it's going to be a bit of a crowded house because, you know, Audrey, she's just stomping
Taking
around
up-
all the rooms all the
Being
time.
very selfish, taking
She-
up the whole annex.
She is.
Like, if you were to do habitat space for each individual member of the Platt family, she'd be like living like a king, wouldn't she? How many? They said they've got 7 people, right? So
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
Audrey. Okay, this is going to be a stupid thing to get into. Audrey,
David,
Shona, Jodie, Harper,
yeah,
David the dog because they counted him,
Yes.
and then Lily.
yeah, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. It's a good job that flipping Max has gone to prison, really, isn't it?
I know.
Don't know what they do with
They have to
that.
farm some more people off to prison. I think Jodie will be going soon.
Yeah. Although Eileen's probably going, 7 people in one house. Is that all?
Oh well, yeah. Oh, what luxurious
Amateurs.
room. Yeah.
So I don't know whether they're gonna. There's not like they can turf David or Lily out, is it? Or Audrey. I mean, there's nothing they can do, really, is there? Apart from getting rid of Jodie.
Well,
Which I assume they're not thinking is going to be a permanent
I don't think
setup.
so. you cannot count a dog as a person when you're talking about space.
Especially not a little tiny dog like that. He may make big poos, but he's not taking up much space.
He's disproportionate, the amount of poo that dog comes out with. It feels like.
Just like our podcast, really, isn't it?
Disproportionate amount of crap.
Yeah, with 4-hour-long podcasts. And that's
It's 50% crap.
So we got a few Adam and Alia scenes on Monday's episode 2, and this is where, like, my brain immediately was like, okay, switch off now. They're talking about legal stuff again. They're talking about lawyers' office business. So Fabian's,
Oh
right?
God, who cares about
I
this?
know, literally.
You were writing down lots of copious notes at one point. I was like, just don't bother.
Just law stuff. So Fabian's, who is the company that Alia used to work for, right? The ones that she didn't stay working for because of their unscrupulous business practices, is their star client, Jackie Malone, was
Jackie
she called?
Dobbs.
No,
We were called Jackie Malone.
No, what was she called? Jackie Mackey. That's it. Yeah.
Is it Jackie Mackey?
Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's severing ties with Fabian because she's also found her conscience, I guess. And Adam is planning to poach her
No, she's getting a better deal off Adam.
Yeah, basically. And he, because he's rolling in it at the moment, as we say, not rolling in poo. That's probably what maybe David
I think
is
he
doing
is a bit.
Anyway, so he's hoping to bag her, and she says we should go on holiday. And then she gets a message on their phone that's really concerning for her. She doesn't tell Adam about it, and then we got the little mystery over the week of who was contacting Alia.
We
and then
still don't know.
No, we do.
It was Fabian.
It was Rich.
Rich Fabian.
I don't know what his name is.
Can we just call him Rich Fabian?
If you want to.
We don't actually know that his name is Rich, though. Just because it was in her phone as Rich. I mean,
We
he
do,
drives a
because
Bentley.
he's been in it before.
He drives a Bentley. Maybe that's a nickname she uses.
Good point, okay. I see
Maybe
what you
Adam's
do.
in her phone as, like, Scott.
Yeah. Rich and Scott, the lawyers.
Two men in her life.
Anyway, so she's getting worried because Rich is obviously contacting her. We find out why at the end of the week. She meets up with him in Victoria Court, doesn't she? No, was it just not Victoria Court. What am I talking about? It's just a car park in Victoria Street, I think.
It wasn't a car park. What are you talking about? Alia meeting Rich?
Yeah, there was a
He
car.
just sits in his car, parked on the
No,
street.
that was later on in the week. You're mixing up episodes, Gemma. This is Monday. There were many scenes where that was supposed to get us interested and going, "Oh, what's Alia up to?"
I should have had a
And
sandwich.
It didn't really work, did
I'm
it?
hungry now.
Anyway, look, she heads over to a car parked outside the Sainsbury's and she says, "I don't want to see or hear from you. Leave me alone." Ooh, who could it be? Tuesday, David wheezes over Adam's new car tiles. The dog, that is, not the human. He does that when he's not... David the human, he's too busy doing it over that Emmerdale sign. Do you remember when Jack
Oh, got in trouble, didn't he?
Got in trouble when
That
he
was
got the
so
Emmerdale
stupid.
sign. He probably doesn't want us to bring that up again. Anyway, Jodie's really not bothered by Adam's threats of legal action against public urination of canines. And what else happened? Oh, later on in that evening, Adam's had a visit from the poo fairy, hasn't he? Because Jodie, the little tyke, has put a bag of the stuff on his bonnet.
Yeah, it was nice of her to put it in a bag.
Yeah, it could have been worse, couldn't it?
She's just lazy, I think, because I would have emptied it out if I wanted to make a proper statement.
I would have just lifted up David the dog when he was ready to go and parked his bum over the side of the car.
You don't want to disturb a dog when they're doing that. They might get nervous.
So Adam brings this poo bag back to the Platts on Wednesday, and Jodie's like, "Oh, what, mate?"
I wanted to say something about this. This is so funny to me because
how petty he's being.
no, the logistics of this. Adam has taken this poo bag back to his house and put it somewhere safe so that he can brandish it when he goes around their house. So he's picked it up, taken it back to his flat, woken up in the morning, put his clothes on, had a shower, put his clothes on, had his breakfast and gone, right, now I'm going to do the poo thing. Pick the poo bag up from its safe space. Where would you have put it in your house?
Well, he probably just put it on his... No, he hasn't got a doorstep, has he?
No,
'Cause he lives in
exactly.
a flat.
Like somebody living in the flat opposite him going, Adam, can you stop leaving bags of dog poo on your own front
It's
doorstep?"
revenge poo, you wouldn't understand.
So then he takes it, he carries it carefully all the way down the road just to go to the Platts house and say, look at this poo.
He probably got a couple of funny looks, didn't he? As he was walking down the road.
He
with
could have
it.
just left it on his car overnight. Maybe it would have left a burn mark from all the acid.
So he goes and presents this to Jodie, and she's like, "No, it's not me. Actually, David was at the vet's yesterday, so
all day
off
long?
Off you go.
With constipation.
Yeah, exactly. So Adam kind of very peeved by this, and he doesn't believe her. So he goes to the bistro, speaks to Daniel, whose sage advice is to try and catch them in the act. All the meanwhile, while this is going on, Alia's getting nuisance calls from Rich. This is when we find out, because we see on the screen that that's who it is, and people all across the country going, "Who's Rich again? Who's that?
Yeah,
do we know who that is?"
When we actually saw him, I was like, "This is a new character."
I did not recognise his face whatsoever.
He's got a very distinctive face, though, doesn't he?
He does.
He's very foxy. Like he's got the fox features of quite. He looks quite intimidating and also handsome, but in a scary kind of I will murder you in the alleyway.
Yeah, just like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alia disappears off again, saying she's got work to do. And then at the end of the episode, if you're still keeping up with the Poogate stuff, David and Jodie sneak their way down Victoria Street, find his car, and put it on his bonnet again. But he's filming them. And I want to know how long he was standing round that corner, just waiting.
I know, he's being so triumphant.
And what if they hadn't turned up?
I know.
Was he planning to sit there every night until they decided to do it again?
He's very obsessed with this.
Maybe he left something on the car to lure them. Maybe I'm just thinking about the Pokemon again.
I know, I think you're thinking of that as well, because in Pokopia, you can put a little jar of honey next to the habitat of the Pokemon to lure them back.
Yeah.
So what do you put on a car to get a dog to crap on it?
Well, it's not. It's what was ever going to lure David and Jodie, isn't it? A little trinket for Jodie, maybe.
Oh yeah, some kind of sacred item from a dead grandmother.
What would David want?
Somebody's put recycling, a pile of recycling you can put in next to a bin.
There we go, that's it. So anyway, whatever he's done, it's done the trick, and he snaps away and uploads it to Facebook, to Friend Connect, just because he's that petty. And do you know, it goes viral.
This was astonishing levels of time wasting.
It's so petty. Has he got nothing better to do?
I don't know if
I was rolling in it like he was. Honestly.
I know. Oh my God.
This is when we see Alia getting out of the car. So she's met up with Rich, although again we still didn't know. We didn't see any of the meeting then. And unbeknownst to her and Adam and anybody, she's appearing on the video that Adam's taking. But we don't find that out till the rest of the week. So next morning, this dog poo video is doing the rounds on the internet. Maybe Friend Connect isn't like Facebook and everybody is still on Friend Connect in Weatherfield. They haven't just deserted it because it's full of ads. But apparently everyone thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread, and what dirty dogs that Jodie and David are. And Adam's just obsessed with it. There was a funny little moment I enjoyed where Jodie and Daniel were talking about becoming lovers and running off somewhere, and Adam doesn't notice at all because he's too busy watching his video project that he's done. Yeah. So the video soon makes its way to David and Jodie's eyes because Lily's follows Adam on Friend Connect, maybe?
They all follow each other when it's important, don't they?
Yeah. And Jodie says, look, if my manic ex-boyfriend sees this video, he's going to know where I am. So David has to get Adam to take it down. Now, this was obviously a big old lie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
She just doesn't want it to go so viral that it works its way to the Dales, and Graham finds it, I assume. I
think I wouldn't want to I don't think you need a sinister reason why you don't want a video of yourself leaving dog poo.
No, but she does have one, surely, doesn't she?
Do you think so?
Yes, 100%. This is nothing to do with.
So she's scared of somebody finding out.
Yeah, she's on the run. She's hiding out in Weatherfield at the moment.
But I also.
Because whoever it was that had her tied up in that van, she didn't want them knocking on her door again, does she?
Yeah, probably. But also, I'm just going to say, I think she probably wants it taken down because a lot of her manipulations and lies rely on her pretending to be nice and She doesn't
to
really
some
want to get a
extent, but it was
reputation for being naughty.
but it was just a little bit of mischief, wasn't it? It was just a little cheeky prank.
What would you think if you saw one of our friends doing that on the internet?
Well, I wouldn't think that they had a secret box of murder victim trinkets and that they were gaslighting their dad and all the other many things that Jodie's been doing, or trying to steal.
It doesn't establish a pattern of behaviour,
Trying to
does
steal
it?
me away from you. But anyway, the video gets deleted in the end because Alia sees it and notices herself getting out of Rich's car in the background, and she's like, "Oh, Adam, just delete it. Just come on." But yeah,
Don't be such an arsehole.
basically, yes.
Do you think Adam's partly mad because he fancies Jodie and he's frustrated?
Do you think?
No, I don't. But he's a player, so watch out, Jodie. I mean, yeah, we talked about that in the clickbait, didn't we?
Did we?
People suspecting that they might have an affair.
Oh, yes, of
They
course we did.
to
didn't
each
we?
other.
Yeah, 70 hours ago. So Alia, on Friday, gets inside Rich's car, which is parked outside the pub, and Jenna Mackey
What did
is
you
what
say
she's
her
called.
name
I
was?
said Jackie Mackey.
I like Jackie Mackey. Let's call her that.
Yeah, or that's just the shorter version, isn't it? So anyway, it's Rich. So he's told her to stop Adam from poaching Jackie Mackey
Yeah.
for his legal firm as a client
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he
No. Well,
she-
he
right. So
Okay.
Jenna Mackey was an investor in Fabian's who's lost £1.2 million on a housing development
She didn't
deal,
invest in Fabian. She invested in a housing development.
which went bankrupt because of a legal case. Oh my god!
Yes, it's not
Alia,
that hard.
Alia had told people, the tenants in this housing disagreement, that the housing company or the flat company or whatever are doing some illegal stuff.
She told
God,
them,
I
right,
don't-
so Jackie Mackey invested in a housing development that then had a legal issue that Alia exacerbated by contacting people and making them aware of their rights. The Fabians was trying to bulldoze them all over, like not literally, but like metaphorically by, strong-arming them. And Alia's like, you've got rights, you don't have to do what they'd say. And so the whole thing collapsed. Not also literally, and so Jackie Mackey's out £1.2 million because of Alia's meddling. So Fabian's is saying, if you use confidential information, this was a total breach of GDPR, by the way, and contacted these people, and you weren't supposed to do it. So if you let Adam poach my Jackie Mackey, I'm going to report you for doing this dodgy stuff.
Because he's hoping that she'll just come back to him eventually, I assume.
No, he doesn't give a crap. I wouldn't hire her back. She's a liability. Why would you want her to work for you? She's a maniac.
No, he wants Jackie to come back.
Well, yeah, he wants Jackie Mackey back.
Right, Jackie Mackey.
Yeah.
Okay, you made it sound much simpler than I was fudging that.
It was when they were talking about it in the car. I was like, oh god, this is so boring.
It really, really is. And, it's an Alia scene as well, which just makes it even
I know,
worse.
poor woman. This
Poor
character
Alia.
cannot catch a break. Like, but
They
honestly,
just can't do anything
she's got a
interesting
job working in
with
a
her.
balloon factory. She'd make it boring, isn't she?
And she's such a square. Like, why is she pursuing a career
Yes.
in law?
And undermining her own company.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't like their
Right.
process.
No.
Mind you, they were being underhanded.
Rich has maybe they were, but Rich has got every right to
Yes.
be
I'd
hacked off
report her
with
anyway.
Alia.
I'd
do
get
it.
Jackie Mackey back and then report her for being stuck-up cow.
There's been so many cases that she hasn't wanted to take on or be involved in or anything because she doesn't personally agree with. That's
Can you
not
imagine?
the
They're
job.
always doing a boundary dispute, aren't they? That's their like favourite case
Yeah.
to take on. Imagine Alia having a consultation with somebody who wants to hire them to help them with their case, and she's like, well, before we begin, are you the evil one of this? Because there's always an evil one in every single case, and I don't support the evil one.
But what doesn't make sense is that Adam is clearly being an arse by backing Annie in this George story.
Yeah, she didn't care about
and she
that.
doesn't care about that. And he's like, well, you never know, do you, about George? He could be a wrong un. And she's like, yeah, you're right, Adam. No, she should... Really?
She would be like,
if she's staying true to
hurting.
character,
Yeah, I know.
he's
You're
our
hurting.
neighbour.
Yeah.
George would never do this.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they know each other particularly. I don't think they've had particularly storylines together. But come on. It's just not consistent with the character. But seriously, she's the most up herself, pious, I've never known someone with such a stick up their ass as Alia.
It's because she's inconsistent. And
she's not. She's always.
No, she's not, because you just pointed out.
No, okay. So this time she's being inconsistent. But I
just find it very.
Why does Coronation Street need a lawyer's office? I know it's had it for a very long time, but has there ever really been anything that exciting come out of it? Apart from Imran, all right.
Adam with his Aston Martin and his flashy jewellery this week just felt so out of place for the rest of the show. Like, he doesn't fit with everybody else. I mean, I know that Emmerdale, though, they have Kim Tate and she's loaded.
And Joe Tate.
But why would Adam still be living where he is? Why would Adam be living in Salford when he could live in a posh penthouse?
He could live at Salford Quays like his daddy Mike did, couldn't he?
Yeah. Why would he be living there where people put dog poo on his Aston Martin?
I bet Mike Bolton never had his Jag covered in dog poo.
That he parks on the street.
Yeah.
In like one of the most crime-ridden areas of...
Where did we say that they were living at the moment?
Of Weatherfield.
Are they in Red Bank at the moment?
I thought...
Or are they in...
I don't remember if they're in Victoria Court or Red Bank.
Because Victoria Court does have its own parking, supposedly, doesn't it?
Have we seen their flat? I can't remember.
Yeah, they're living in Kitsole Flat, aren't they?
Oh.
They're living in Kitsole Flat, so that's Red Bank. So maybe Red Bank, the luxury apartments, doesn't have its own underground parking area.
He should just hollow out the barber's shop, park his car in there.
Well, yeah, nothing's going on there, is it? Anyway, turns out Adam has indeed stolen Jenna Mackey, which we find out about at the end of the episode. And she says, look, you just can't keep her. And he's like, no, don't worry about it, it's fine. She's so good and she's so loaded that she could keep us going for years.
And he gives Alia some fancy jewellery and she's like, but it's not my birthday. Oh, God, Alia, please, love, just stop being so humble. She's so boring. Oh, you've given me a gift, but it's not one of the transactional gift days that we celebrate. What are you talking about?
What's going to happen here? And I just can't see how anything interesting can come out of the predicament that we're left with at the end of the week. It's like, so what if Alia gets struck off?
I know.
So what if Adam hires Jenna? They can't even show the lawyer's office. Every single meeting that Adam has is in the bloody cafe at the moment.
I know. And it's a weird... Can you imagine if you went to a lawyer's office and they had an Aston Martin parked outside with a poo bag on it, and you went upstairs and it was like the jankiest little hovel you've ever seen in your life, and they were trying to charge you like $2,000 a month for their ongoing legal services, and you say, who works here? And he's like, me and my really boring girlfriend who hates law.
Maybe he's getting the place done up. Maybe when we see it again, it'll have had a makeover and it'll look all swish and modern.
If it actually looked like somewhere you would go with a client to impress them. It made sense when it felt like more of a scrappy kind of...
Yeah, when they set it up. Yeah, but that was many years ago and it hasn't improved since. But as I said, this week was generally a very engaging week for me for Coronation Street. I did enjoy it. Not too much that absolutely blew my socks off, but this little corner of it, Gordon Bennett, no thank you.
It is quite funny to laugh at poor Alia.
I'd really wish... Just give her one good story, Corey. Just once in her life, in a career on the programme.
She had some good... I think she had some good stuff.
Oh, it was too long ago. She just doesn't feel like she belongs there anymore. And now that the rest of the Nazirs are gone, and
neither does Adam.
Adam to me really does stick out as a sore thumb of being you're not really a Coronation Street character. There's a few characters that to me. And they can be on the show for as long as you like. They feel like an outsider. And I have still got, I'm sorry to say it, Carla feels like an outsider to me. Yeah. And I don't know whether it's just that...
because she's rich.
I don't know, maybe it is. She's just never felt like one of the other ladies.
That's because she has a status above them.
Yeah, maybe it is. I wonder whether I would have felt the same about Mike if...
The only other, real woman boss is the landlady of the Rovers, and they feel like part of the community. And obviously with the Rovers
being a central hub.
Leanne and Alia, speed dial and all that stuff, but that does feel like they're part of the community because their business is is in the service industry. And I know that if you're the manager, that you're a step above it, but it doesn't feel quite as removed from
the reality of everyone else's lives as like a nebulous business knicker stitching kind of.
Yeah. I wonder if any of our listeners have got characters like that who just don't feel like they belong. And I'm not saying I want to get rid of Carla or anything like that. She just has got this kind of otherness aura, about her. And maybe that's going to change for me now that she's living in a house on the street. I think that possibly affected it a little bit back in the day.
I think the Baileys had that as well, though, where it's like, if you took out Baileys, a lot of the, like, not anymore, I think they're doing a better job now, you could just make a show just with the Baileys.
I still think that Ronnie maybe feels a little bit like that, to be honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's because they're all business people.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Nobody...
Not the working class, hard grit kind of characters that Coronation Street is based on. Do you want to move on to the next story?
I wanted to just quickly mention that Betsy died in the French Revolution, which I think I want to know more about that, please.
I can't remember what that was talking about.
What side was she on?
What was it talking about? Former other lives or something?
Yeah.
It was in the story, but I don't remember the context. But it was a funny little...
Which side do you think she was on?
I
want to know what she thinks what she thinks happened in the French Revolution.
She's just
she
fresh
really
out
knows.
of school, isn't she? The little whippersnapper. She probably did it a couple of years ago.
Did you learn about the French Revolution?
I learned about the French Revolution. Don't ask me any questions now, though.
What, at GCSE? Did you do history?
No. Of course I did history. I did history A level. No, I think I learned about the French Revolution in like year 9 or something. Anyway, that's boring. Will groomed Gemma. What's going on here? Developments this week. Megan becoming more evil. Sam throwing up all over the place. Well, I think that Sam should throw up over Adam's Aston Martin. And then David get the blame for it.
Wouldn't it? Oh God. Yeah, Megan is so sinister because she bats her eyelashes and she's got this such cute little face, isn't she? This heart-shaped face with her lovely blush cheeks and her beautiful blonde hair. And then she's there just saying the most evil things to this poor child.
Well, she steps up a gear on Friday, I think.
She's so playful with it too, isn't she? Like, she's like quite casual.
Yeah.
What she's saying.
She's really does think that she's untouchable.
Yeah.
And if anybody reports her, then she's just going to tell her how ridiculous it is. But I think it would actually be pretty stressful. I think there would be some kind of investigation going on. And...
They'd investigate. I honestly don't know what evidence they would be able to find.
No, and I suppose that the school would back her, I imagine. But she is a new member of staff, so I wonder what kind of reputation she's got among, the other teachers there at the moment. And like, would they say, well, we've only just met you. Maybe we have hired a nonce. I don't know.
You didn't put it in the skills on your CV, so don't know. So on Monday, Sam is very nervous. This is when he throws up when he's supposed to be going to school, and he's at the bus stop and he gets sick. So Leanne happens to be walking past, so she brings him home, makes him puts him on the sofa, brings him a bucket. And he's worried that Miss Walsh is going to come back. And as soon as Leanne leaves, he reaches for his pills again.
What's going on there? Is it supposed to be more obvious? Because is this just the Ritalin from before, or is there something else? Is it the pills that, or whatever it was from the wizard? I'm assuming it is. But then we also said, is he taking some pills that are making him sick?
So, Ritalin can cause side effects including insomnia, reduced appetite, weight loss, dry mouth, stomach aches, and irritability. Serious, less common risks include heart palpitations, increased blood pressure, anxiety, hallucinations, growth suppression in children, and Raynaud's syndrome.
So no vomiting,
which I think
then.
Is where your fingers go.
I mean, he could just literally be...
Your circulation into your fingers.
He could be so anxiety ridden and stressed out by the whole deal that's causing him to throw up.
Well, yeah, it says that vomiting is one of the... he's taking this too much and he's giving himself nausea that's making him sick.
I wasn't sure.
And adding to his anxiety.
I wasn't sure on Monday whether he'd given himself something to make himself sick so that he would get time off school.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Yeah, but I don't think that's it. He's turned into an addict in the space of a week.
Yeah.
That's okay. So Leanne tells Nick about this at the bistro, and they're like, "Oh, Sam's very sad. He's revising too much."
Yeah,
that was nuts.
He's not revising too much.
He's revising because Nick and
If the exams are in
Toyo
2
and
months'
Leanne
time...
are talking in the bistro like going, oh my god, he's got exams in two months and he thinks he's got to revise already. That's nonsense. You just do it the night before.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago since we did our GCSEs, but I seem
revised
to remember
for
doing months of revision
months
before
and
them.
months, probably from January.
And Sam is a proper geek, isn't he?
Yeah.
So of course he's probably got a specially designed revision timetable and everything. And this is just...
It's a very responsible thing to do, to be revising for your GCSEs 2 months before. And it's not like a freakishly nerdish and outlandish thing to be doing.
No.
Right, so on Tuesday, Leanne and Megan are having a girls' night in. Bras off, movie, popcorn.
Well, they arrange to have one, don't they? Yeah.
And she tells Megan she's worried about Sam because they think there might be more to his anxiety than just exam pressure. I literally don't get this because when I had my GCSEs, I was a nervous wreck. Like, I had a mental breakdown, basically, with how stressed I was about this. I remember wandering through the house, printing stuff off of the computer about maths and crying and looking at it and not understanding what the hell any of it was. And my parents were trying to watch the X-Files movie and ignoring me as I was like wailing around like
that's neglect.
Miss Havisham's ghost on the top floor of the house. And yeah, I just went crazy. So this is totally normal to me. I don't get... Nobody was molesting anybody at school. Well, they were actually.
They were at
I
your
didn't know
school.
anything about that. So, so it feels like a bit like more than exam pressure. But Megan says, look, teenage boys are so mysterious. Who knows? Maybe he'll tell you if he needs to. Don't worry. He's a sensible bloke.
Yeah, she's just basically saying, don't dig into this, Leanne, because he might tell you something about me.
Yeah. So later that evening, she comes back to the flat. She looks around to see if Leanne's there, and she talks and when she thinks she's alone, she talks to Will on the phone, and she's being all sexy. And Leanne comes out, having just had a shower. Megan doesn't notice. Leanne overhears her having this conversation, and for some reason finds it really endearing and hilarious, and interrupts her, thinking that she's talking to Daniel.
I think that you would do. If you're there with your mates and you overhear them having a sexy phone call, you're just going to...
And I'd be like,
especially Leanne, just laughing it off. I thought that was fine, totally in character.
Don't say sexy talk in my front room. So she jokes about it. And
Says
Megan...
the former sex worker.
And Megan...
Not you, that is Leanne. Leanne I'm referring to.
Megan sort of doesn't say anything incriminating and kind of thinks she gets away with it.
Yeah, she has a little giggle at the end of it, doesn't she? She thinks... Well,
I think that part of what gets her off is the thrill of being possibly found out.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday...
Sam's getting ready for school, isn't he? Yeah.
And Megan says, you're going to be alienating yourself with all this behaviour that you're demonstrating, and then what will you be? You won't have any friends or anything. Just mocking him. Then Leanne sees Daniel walking in the street and has a quick chat with him about Sam, saying, oh, he's really out of sorts. And Daniel's like, I don't care, I'm not at work at the moment. No, Daniel says, I will have a word with him.
Yeah, he's the more responsible teacher, isn't he? Megan's just like, he'll be fine. But Daniel's like, oh yeah, we must have a word with him. And
she says, oh, thank you for that. Oh, sorry, by the way, about the other day when you were having a sexy phone call with Megan and I interrupted it. And he goes, it wasn't me, it must have been one of our other boyfriends, as a joke. And he doesn't seem to dwell on it. Or...
No, he doesn't. That doesn't come back at all later in the week, does it?
I don't know if... I don't think I'd let that go quite as easily as Daniel, but he does not...
No.
Leanne is more confused about it than he is.
Yeah.
I guess because she actually
heard
it.
it.
Yeah. So on Thursday, they're all talking about Sam in the bistro, Nick, Toya,
this is the revision scene.
Oh, he's doing too much work. And Leanne says, look, maybe he can come and stay with me. And then Daniel and Megan walk in. And Daniel overhears this too and says, he's got to sleep. He sleeps essentially. He can't be up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing work. And then Nick says, again, this is the second time Nick's done this.
he's revising too much. I'm going to stop him from doing it and make him do something else to take his mind off it. I can guarantee you, this poor child, you're going to drag him around the peaks and all he's going to be doing is thinking about how much time he's wasting not doing revision.
There is, obviously there's such thing as overworking and over-revising and becoming obsessed with revision. And,
yeah, but you build it into... If you want to give your child a break, you work with them to work out when is a good time.
Yeah,
and
don't just make him go cold turkey.
Yeah. None of them have sat down and go, look, it seems to me like you're working really hard. What's your actual schedule? Can we look at what you're doing?
They're not talking to him about it, are they?
That's too sensible for Coronation Street. No, they're just going, oh my God, can't possibly talk to him about it, except to say, stop being stressed about it. That seems to be all they do.
Yeah.
It's because none of them did any good at school, I think. Don't you? They were like, well, school, all you have to do is own a business round here and you're minted for the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about it. So, Megan tells Daniel that she can't spend the evening with him because she's snowed under. She's got something else to do. So, a really great scene this week that I enjoyed is the next one where 3 Battersby sisters and Price are sitting there all drinking wine and having a nice gossip.
Yeah, Leanne's flat. That was great.
So, Eva's removed herself from the trauma of the funeral at the Rovers, and she's having a chat with Leanne and Toya, and it was just a really nice throwback to those golden eras of the Battersby trio that I liked.
Yeah.
So they're all drinking wine, and Leanne starts gossiping about Megan. It was brilliant because Megan wasn't even out the door before she started talking about her and saying, did you know, right, Megan told Daniel that she was snowed under earlier and lied about it, but she's not at all. And also, she's having a secret phone call. I reckon she's got a boyfriend. She's got a different boyfriend. And then they all start saying, oh, maybe it's another PE teacher.
Well, if it's a caretaker.
And then they all laugh. They are gonna...
I feel so bad for the caretaker at Weatherfield High.
He might be handsome.
He could be.
There's quite a lot of young hunky...
Someone's got to clean up the poo that gets getting.
I don't think they do that, do they?
I don't know.
I don't think a caretaker's job is to clean up poo. Where did you get that from?
Well, I don't know. The caretaker would be in charge of the cleaning staff.
Yeah, in charge of the cleaning staff, but they're also responsible
if cleaning staff's not in.
It's actually a managerial role because you're in charge of maintaining the school. It's a really hard job.
It's not even called caretaker. What's it called? Site manager.
Well,
I think is the job these days. Lots of risk assessments.
Yeah. It's not just putting light bulbs in and sweeping corridors.
No, it's not groundskeeper Willie, is it?
No, it's not. It's a very good job, but they don't understand that. They're ignorant. They all have a laugh. But once they find out that this is Megan with Will, they're going to gut this woman.
I hope so.
The aftermath of this is going to be a blonde smear on the floor.
Well, it's going to be 5 weeks away, isn't it? It's going to be late April when this all comes out, I imagine.
Do you think that they're all going to go and get matching fringes? The Battersby sisters
You're
and
obsessed
Megan.
with Megan's future fringe.
I am. It's a great look. I love a fringe. I wish I could have a fringe.
Maybe they'll all go off to the Fringe Festival and pick one together. Is that what you do?
You can get, what's it called? A fringe? No, a whinge. It's a wig that's a fringe.
Oh, really?
I really wanted one. I really love fringes.
Well, can't you have one?
No, because my hair is very fine. That's code word for thin. And very oily, which is code word for greasy. And so,
give you spots.
No, it wouldn't it gives me spots, but it also just looks like a ratty old horrible skank fringe.
Oh, well.
But I have been collecting my hair in a bag to make a fringe of my own hair. Because when I looked at these whinges, they all were made of obviously artificial hair, and so they looked like it's a different hair to my hair. So it looked like I was wearing a female toupee. On Friday, Hope and Sam were in the cafe.
That was a great scene as well. Yeah. I love Hope. She's not in it enough recently.
She was trying to give him some sage advice, saying, "You're bullied. You need to do something about it."
Yeah, she says she thinks that she's being bullied by someone. She's like, you need to just say, I'm not scared of you.
Yeah, and then she says, go on, say it. And he says, I'm not scared of you. And then she goes, whoa. And he's like, and she's like, come on, man. So.
But he does say it.
He uses his advice.
Fair play to him, to Megan.
I do like that they're, even though they're exes, that Sam
still
and
on
Hope
speaking terms.
Can still be cool with each other.
I wouldn't put it past them putting them together again at some point in the future.
I also loved Hope like blithely giving advice about bullying as if she is not probably the biggest bully.
I bet she is. I bet she's the terror of the corridors.
I bet she
there,
is.
Isn't she?
I bet she is.
Slamming people against those lockers.
A little gang of her little friends laughing as she vapes in the corner.
Yeah,
making fun of everybody.
holding up a firelighter. She's probably got one of those little electric firelighters like we've got.
Yeah,
That's
the
like
crackly one.
like a taser. She has it to their throat, like, give me your vapes.
Taser, taser, taser. Right.
But I suppose, if she is, then she's probably the best person to give advice about it, yeah?
But if somebody said, if Hope was bullying you and you went, I'm not afraid of you, she'd just laugh and smack you in the face.
I know.
Right, so Megan catches up with Sam in the street and she comes up to him and says, people are starting to get worried about you and you're having all these delusional conspiracy theories, so you better watch out. And he says to her, I'm not afraid of you. I'm going to tell everybody tonight. So
when he said that, I was like, yes! Oh, brilliant. But he never did he?
Didn't. So she says to him, if you do, I'm just going to laugh and report you to the police for putting a camera in the living room to catch me in my skimpies. And then she's like, oh, you're a pervert. I bet you would love to know what me and Will get up to.
She pretty much
really
does
disgusting.
admit it, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
This
was the moment where she said, you're right.
I do go to bed with him.
They talked about that... the scene that Cam caught them on camera.
Yeah.
Sam caught them on camera, didn't he? And she said, "Oh yeah, once that scene was over, what we were getting up to in the bed."
Yeah, and
Grizzly.
so he's just there, like, can't you're absolutely right. But she says, "If you take me on, I'll destroy you."
Destroy you.
And then Sam reaches into his pocket, and we were both going, "Oh, brilliant! He's recorded the whole thing on his phone." No, his hand shakes, and he brings out his packet of pills. Which
Maybe he'll
pops.
try that next week. I don't know.
Poor kid.
Yeah, he's so good. I love Jude Jordan. I'm really, really chuffed that they're giving him so much screen time this year. And I know we're having a few weeks on, a few weeks off, but he's carrying this story really, really well. Megan's doing a brilliant job. What's her name? Beth Nixon,
Yeah,
the
she's
actress.
fantastic.
Yeah. I think I still say the weak link in this story, unfortunately, is Will at the moment, but he's not really been in it too much, has he? It's basically Sam versus Megan, and that's kind of how I'd want it to be.
Yeah, it's great,
to be honest.
So we're saying, oh, Sam, should be revising, blah blah blah, but he's clearly not actually doing that. He's awake because he's scared.
Yeah,
and he's obsessing and thinking about what he should do.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, it's not going to get. When exams are in June or
May,
July?
June time, yeah.
Okay.
So it's a while away.
I know, but what I'm thinking of is that it's not like he's going to fail his exams and then it will come out what actually happened.
No.
I think he'll be all right for his
He's going to be fine because, honestly, he doesn't know this, but I do think this is 100% going to be all out in the open by the time the flash forwards get caught up with.
That's what I'm trying to work out.
And then he'll still have a good month and a half to do his revision after that.
Because they said that he is just doing maths. He's not doing all of them.
Yeah, he's doing an early GCSE because he's so smart.
It's always the maths they do, isn't it? First.
I don't know. I never did.
Well, I think it's because if you're the sort of kid who, I think the sort of brain that excels in that way that you would do something early is a maths brain.
Yeah, because it's just more, maybe because it's more logical.
Yeah.
For other subjects like, history, you've literally got lots and lots of facts and dates and whatever to learn.
And also with like English and things, you need more experience. Anyway, who cares about that? So, what did you think of this week?
Good week. Like I said, I thought that the earlier stuff let it down somewhat, but I was really invested in the Jim storyline, even though when the truth came out and they made out like Maggie was Jim's little secret bit on the side, it didn't sit right with me. But everything in that story I really enjoyed. I love Ben. Steve, he didn't irritate me this week, and that's always a good thing. The Todd storyline was good. As I say, they've jumped up a gear now that they've got him split from Theo, and Theo's behaviour after the split was very fun to watch. Like having a meltdown in the car and then looking at the app. So I'm again looking forward to seeing what's happening there. I'm still not completely 100% sold on the character of Jodie, I'm gonna say. And I think that they have done a really, really good job of casting her, especially as Shona's sister. They do look very similar. Similar behaviour. I'm confusing their names on the podcast, so they must be quite close. but I said it just was just a little on the immature side, and because it brought Adam into it, who's a character that doesn't really do much for me, that was a bit of a letdown. And everything with Sam was cool. So I think I will just stick with the usual fairly average 3.5 visits from the Pooh Fairy out of 5. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I wasn't let down this week. My character of the week.
Can I say what my score
Oh yeah,
is?
go for your score.
Mine's 4 officers of the Turd Police. Because I thought it was a very good week this week. We gave it lots of bang-ins. I didn't really mind the Alia
So
stuff.
that's our scatological scores for this week.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, who was the character of the week? I mean,
Steve.
I might. Steve was good, but I'm probably going to go Ben this week. Actually,
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Ben or Maggie.
I think Ben standing up for Steve. I think Aaron McCuskey's great. The whole mystery that's surrounding there, it was good. I
just don't buy their friendship.
Oh, I do.
I think it's too early to be that intense about it. But what I will say is maybe there's some kind of genetic resonance. Because I always remember this story about somebody who cloned their cat. So they cloned their cat, and the cat that was cloned was still alive.
Yeah.
So they had the kitten and the cat. And they both obviously were the same cat, genetically speaking. And apparently they loved each other, like absolutely pure loved each other so much, so intensely.
Oh, really?
It's such a bizarre, it's like, it feels like super narcissistic, but obviously a cat doesn't have that kind of ego. So it's just interesting to me. So maybe, because also, I mean, this is a bit grim, but don't they say that sometimes there's been weird cases of people working out that they're related and they didn't know, but they fall in love with each other.
I don't know.
Like, there must be some kind of genetic closeness that your brain understands on a level that you don't really get. Maybe I'm thinking that maybe there is some kind of weird genetic link, and maybe it's not.
Ian McLeod would have you believe that.
Well, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be some kind of like cosmic psychic resonance. It could just be something like my genes express my personality in a way that yours does too, and therefore we feel like we are very close, even though we haven't had a lot of time together.
Yeah, I wonder.
And you could obviously you don't have to be genetically related to someone to have a very deep and meaningful relationship, because otherwise everyone would be.
That would be a bit weird.
Yes.
I wonder whether Ben will be able to bring just a little bit more of the serious side out on Steve, because the Steve and Tim relationship is goofy, is kind of immature, but Ben has got that. He doesn't have that side
He's
to him
more
particularly,
reserved.
yeah, and maybe that's a good thing, because Steve, just the buffoon Steve that I've got a bit tired of over the last decade or so, maybe we'll have less of that. I don't know. Right, anyway, that was it for this week's Street Talk.
Did we do everything?
Yeah, we did.
No, I didn't pick my character.
I thought you said Steve.
I said Steve or Ben or Maggie.
Oh, well, go on then. Who are you picking?
Why did I volunteer myself for this? No,
Nice.
I haven't picked.
Well,
I think
so-
I want to give it to Maggie. I
Oh,
want
there
to give
we
it to
go.
Maggie because I just love her.
Well,
lurking.
I'm sure Maggie is reacting to a camera somewhere right now. Ooh, it's me. Right.
I just love how camp she is. She at times it doesn't feel like she's in the same program as everybody else, but I don't care. I love her. I think she's great. She adds a bit of colour to the show. She is a very unique character.
She is.
There's nobody else like her, and I don't think there's ever been any. There have been very few characters that fit into the mould of her. Like you keep mentioning Ivy, but she's got way more fun, and she's a lot less serious than Ivy was. I know Ivy came in and pretended that she was cool, but she wasn't, was she?
I think that, but equally,
Maggie's fun. Ivy wasn't.
Ivy did have fun moments when if she just wasn't fun around Brian and Gail. I think she was around Vera, and Ivy didn't go around just being. Oh, maybe she did a little
Michael,
bit. Maggie is just.
Ask anyone who watched it when Ivy was in it. Who was she a fun character? They would say no.
I know, not all the time, but sometimes she was. Are
Are you saying she's
Maggie
the same
is just...
on the same level as Maggie?
Oh, I don't know.
So
I don't know.
my point stands.
All right. Right, that is definitely a Street Talk this week. We're done.